Customizable, made-to-order suits. Perfect for hockey teams, wedding parties, or even the office crew. Book your free consultation at GameDaySuits.ca.
I'm rocking one right now. I look deadly.
You know they can't see you, right?
Okay, Mr. Announcer, you want to go, tough guy?
GameDay Suits!
This month in Sports History Moment is brought to you by Discount Diesel Parts.
February 6, 2024. The Oilers' 16-game win streak comes to an end. The Oilers' streak began on December 21st, and they were one victory away from tying the record. The first game back, post-All-Star break, saw the Oilers outplay the Vegas Golden Knights, but lose 3-1. The Oilers were 13-15-1 before their streak started, and improved its record to 29-16-1 when it ended.
Hi, folks. This is Big Al from Discount Diesel Parts. Interstate McBee is a highly respected manufacturer with over 70 years' experience in the heavy-duty diesel engine parts industry. And as an authorized dealer, we've been serving Western Canada with those high-quality engine parts for highway trucks, farm machinery, heavy equipment, transit, and marine, and at a great price, too. Reach us at discountdiesel.ca and know that Discount Diesel's got the parts to get it done.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Matthew Schaefer with a power play goal. Here he is again. Schaefer drives in behind the net. Hansel-Wood. Matthew Schaefer out to the line. Carol's fault shoots, scores! Matthew Schaefer, how did he do it?
Are you kidding me?
2 goals in this period. No 18-year-old defenseman has more goals in NHL history.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Again, it was the transition by defenseman the first period, and they're picking up right where they left off. Blues in front, they got another shot, they score! Holloway, he's got 2. And the Blues on top, 3-1 as they find it on the doorstep.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
That center. Hyman with backside coverage on Byfield. The puck comes free to McDavid, still sitting on 99 points. Drop pass, drive center, Jackson scores. And there's 100 for McDavid and 30 for Draisaitl.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 614, Friday, February the 27th. Man, another month is almost come and gone here in the City of Champions. The weekend is here, so let's tear up the old pea patch, clicker into Schnell, and make a fast break to the 11 o'clock hour. It is Feel Good Friday. It's Playlist Friday. If you got a request, get it in to 833-401-1440, and the Duke will get her on. Once again, like Monday, no Eddie Steele here this morning. So we'll close out the week kind of running solo with the fellas here in the Sports 1440 studios. Yeah, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive into work or wherever you're heading in or out on a Friday morning. And overnight, did it get a little windy and cold, and it was so mild for the last 24 hours yesterday morning and things like that. But she whipped up for a couple of days here, and then we'll be back to some good temperatures for sure. Hey, you can also watch us on YouTube on Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like and a subscription. We would appreciate that. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, we are streaming on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, and on sports1440.ca. If you miss any part of any show, you can find it where all the podcasts hang out on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Subscribe there. We would appreciate it. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. And again, it is Playlist Friday. Get them in, get them on. And we've got them sliding in already. The real Duke has sent one in, a couple of others already. Yeah, thanks so much for coming along and spending some time with us here on a Friday morning, where the Oilers absolutely blew the doors off the LA Kings last night in LA at Crypto Arena. 8-1 the final. A big night for Connor McDavid. It's not like he was never going to get there, but when you reach a milestone and reach a plateau like he did last night, it's just great. And when you got a day off today, maybe to kick back and enjoy it. 100 points for McDavid yesterday with a goal and an assist. That's his 9th 100-point season. Wayne Gretzky had 15. Mario Lemieux had 10. So you would, unless something crazy happens and Connor decides not to play anymore, he will easily surpass Mario Lemieux. Can he get to Wayne Gretzky? So 6 more. He's 29. That means he'd have to have a half dozen really good seasons still. So, the possibility is there. I think, there's a really good possibility that he could get to 15 100-point seasons, which means he would be well on his way to being the second player to reach the 2,000-point plateau in the NHL. Leon Draisaitl had a goal and 3 assists. Zach Hyman had a goal and 2 assists. How about Jake Wallman? 2 third-period goals. Rifled one in from the point on a one-timer, and then had that little backhand, sneaky little backhand that slid its way through. And when things are going well, when Andrew Mangiapane scores 1 goal, 1 assist, and the goaltending for the LA Kings was pretty well abysmal. Both guys, Kemper, Forsberg, were bad. Connor Ingram, not busy, but I'll tell you what, he made some decent saves, did he not? And looked very good at times. So the Oilers will have a day off today. They go into San Jose tomorrow afternoon. And again, that is a 2 o'clock start. So this is a really, really quick California road trip, is it not? They go into San Jose for the afternoon game. They'll be back home on a Saturday night. And then just like that, they start a little bit of a real hard run here in the month of March, because this is where everything's going to come together. You're going to find out very quickly. And by the way, that was the 60th game of the season last night for the Oilers. Only the Washington Capitals have played 60 games. So that's how far the Oilers are ahead when it comes to games played. So they got a couple home games next week, and there's some days that are spaced apart. Sunday's going to be a day off after getting back. They'll be back to practice on Monday. Ottawa's here. Then you got 2 more days off, and this is where the team can really rest up to get some downtime. Carolina's here, and this is where the meat, the real meat of the schedule is that I was talking about. Carolina's here on the Friday, and then they go on the road for 4, and these are tough games and big games. You go to Vegas, then you go to Colorado, and then you've got Dallas and St. Louis in a back-to-back. And that's a real condensed part of the schedule, and things are going to be tough for the Oilers when you look at that. In the NHL last night, actually, the Oilers got a couple of favors, if you want to call it that, because the Seattle Kraken lost to the Blues by a score of 5-1, and the Calgary Flames beat the San Jose Sharks by a score of 4-1. The Maple Leafs, that is a free fall. They go into Tampa on Wednesday night and got spanked. They go into Florida last night, get spanked, 5-1 the final there. I saw the highlight again of, I guess it's Bennett sliding in because of Morgan Riley falling, just skating backwards, falling. Other guys letting the Red Sea part, or the blue and white sea, and in comes Bennett with an easy goal. 5-1 the final there. I don't know what they're going to do in Toronto. That is just unreal, how things have tanked there. They're still in the mix. They're still in a mix for a playoff spot, but they would have to go on a serious roll here. Let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne at 7:08 in Edmonton. The Duke and I were in Legal yesterday and had a whale of a night in Legal with the Critters, and the Critters' final game of the season. And man, it was a lot of fun. And that facility, Duke, that is top notch. in Legal. That blew me away.
Ditto, Kevin. You took
Just-
the words right
oh.
out of my mouth. That I'd heard. We were informed beforehand. They'd recently renovated the rink, but hadn't actually built. They did build a little bit onto existing structures and whatnot. But man, if you would have told me that was a brand new, top to bottom, inside out facility that had opened up earlier this fall, I would have believed you 100%. Beautiful spot, great people, great food afterwards, as per usual. Got to catch a good chunk of the middle period of the Oilers game as we were having our post game meal. Saw Andrew Mangiapane's goal, which got a good.
Everyone in the room, who was that?
Yeah, a good rouse out of the collected folks watching. So yeah, it was an excellent night, and not the latest one we've had either. When you talk about the return home time, since Legal's not that far away, and it was much more manageable to try and play catch up on the Oilers game. I admittedly did fall asleep in the rewatch and had to finish up this morning as I was going through my routine of getting ready for work. But yeah, fun night, great money raised. And another season in the books for the Critters.
About 18,000 was raised towards the newly renovated SVF Sports Center. We had Olivia Tolman, who was our guest critter, had a great game. She was dynamite on that top line. Duke and I were defense partners, and to be honest with you, we just couldn't get in sync.
Listen, Kev,
come on, Duke.
We had problems back there. I'm not too proud to admit that.
Well,
there were shifts where I would look up ice, whether it was with the puck or in defending, and I said, "Are we the only two on the ice for our team?" We
didn't have a whole lot. Well, here's the other thing too. For the first period, the Legal Legends had black jerseys.
That did not help.
We wore black jerseys. I'll tell you what. And Duke said we were on the bench. Doesn't matter if you turn the puck over. You turn the puck over.
It's a free pass, essentially, is all it gives you. So,
yeah.
I blame a lot of the forwards that were out there with us at different times for some of our issues back there. But hey, we managed to escape unscathed.
Well,
another victory for the Critters to round out the year.
And and you said to Aaron Harrison there, the big H, the hammerhead.
Oh, the hammerhead.
He had the exact. Well, it might have been worse than what Devon Taves had in the Olympics.
Oh, it was almost an identical play, but he had 3 or 4 whacks at it, whereas Devon Taves had just the one.
And anyway, Duke was giving him the gears last night. On a personal note, I was just blown away coming out of the dressing room when we were kind of gearing up, taking the gear to the bus. And there was a family, Nicole and a couple of kids, and one of them kids, his name was Weston. And I think a lot of our listeners are going to really enjoy our older listeners, and even listeners that are, have listened to radio in Edmonton and area for a long time. Anyway, this young little guy comes up to me, and he's maybe 7 years old or something like that. And he says, are you number 17? Were you number 17? I go, yeah, I was. And he says, then his mom was there, Nicole, and she said, did you work with Wes Montgomery? I said, no, I never did. I never did work with Wes. And she says, this is Wes Montgomery's great grandson. And his name was Weston. And I mean, for every listener right now in Edmonton that would remember Wes on the airwaves here in the City of Champions, I mean, Wes was synonymous. I mean, this is a broadcasting legend in our city that did everything from every show to, with Oilers and covering everything. When you go up to the press box in the in Rogers Place, when you come off the elevators, there's all the great media legends in our city that have worked and covered the Oilers. Well, Wes Montgomery's picture is on that wall with, the likes of Rod Phillips and all the other greats that have worked in our media industry. And anyway, we had a couple pictures taken together, and he signed my hand, Duke. Look at this. I still got it on my hand. Old Weston's autograph. And then I think it was his brother. They never really said. I think it was his brother James that was there too. So that was just a great day, great night in Legal. So a great season for the Edmonton, the CFCW Critters comes to a close.
And how about this, Kev? Just to put a bow on it, the conclusion of the night. We're walking out, and as is the case in many small towns, the curling rink sort of adjacent, connected as part of this new sports center to the arena, and the curling rink lounge is where we had supper. We're walking out, and old hammerhead Aaron looks out. It's just him and I. He looks out of the curling sheet. He's like, "So they got a little Zamboni that goes out there and floods that?"
On.
And I say, "What?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I have to think it would get pretty scratched up, right?
Oh,
and then he
boy.
takes a second. He's like, wait, do they wear skates out there?
Come on.
No, for real.
Oh,
and I
boy.
say, Aaron, what are you talking about? Have you never watched a curling game? He says, well, clearly not that closely, I guess.
Oh, boy.
And I proceeded to pass this along to his other half, Jules, and Marty on the bus, and they essentially disowned him on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And now Aaron had to take some heat for the remainder of the bus ride back to his drop off in Mayo. So it was worth a good laugh, and I had to get that dig in at Aaron for, like I said, the conclusion of the year. I am looking forward to seeing the whole crew again next fall.
Oh, boy. So that's just a good story. Smalls text, and I love listening to Wes when I was young. Him and Bob Layton were always on my mom's radio. Harry says Wes picked Bonnie Doon High School to beat O'Leary. Blake Dermott and I lost to O'Leary. It was Wes's fault. Laid back Letty says, Kevin and Duke, good morning. Good morning. It's a West Montgomery morning here to wake you with a smile and get you up on time. Scuff Darren says West Montgomery was a great as the MC announcer, and he was, the in-house guy at the S game for a long, long time. Bobby texted and said, hey, Karius, where does this P-patch clicker into Schnell come from? All right, Bobby. Well, I used to say that when I was on Global every Friday night because I wanted to get to the bar as fast as possible at midnight. But where it comes from, there used to be an old baseball announcer named Red Barber. And this is in the 40s and 30s, probably 40s, about the 40s, because he used to do, when Jackie Robinson broke in, he was still doing games. But that was his line. The P patch means, like, it was like an old saying, when you tear up the pea patch, that was an old saying about you're really getting things done, getting it going. And the Schnell thing is from an old buddy when we were on the ski lift in Kimberley years and years ago, talking about getting the line moving from this guy that ran the line at the Kimberley Ski Resort, Buzz, clicker into Schnell. So I started saying that 30 years ago at Global and kind of just morphed it into here. So coming up on the big program, Andrew Walker will be with us. It's a quick turnaround for Walks. Always appreciate when he's got a late game to do the post game here. And he's up and at him with the pallet business anyway. He's probably playing hockey right now. Who knows? He probably plays. What do you think he plays? 7 games a week? 6?
No, not 7.
6?
But 5 for sure. 5 skates a week, 4 or 5.
Wow.
Because he hasn't been coming to the Tuesday skate that I go to. Because his wife Angie says he's just got too many others that he takes Tuesdays off now.
Wow, you got to take one day off.
Well, you would think.
I'll be the first question I ask him: how many skates a week? Mark Spector will be with us at 8:00. Was at the game last night, and you can read his article on sportsnet.ca, and we'll discuss the big 8-1 victory by the Oilers. A huge bounce back after they had think about it. They should have had at least a point in Anaheim. And now you got a split so far on the road, but they could have been easily 2-0 here if they would have nailed that one down in Anaheim. Frank Saravalli, because Frank, we never had him earlier in the week because of travels. He came in from Italy, then he was on another plane, and now he's in Chicago. So we'll get to Frank one more time this week at 8:20. Reed Clark, Edmonton City Councilor, a new initiative that Reed has proposed in front of City Council regarding sports and sports legacies in our city. Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves and V's and Live. We'll talk a little hoops with JVT. And then Curtis Pichelka from Bay Area News covers the Sharks. That's where the Oilers go tomorrow. When we come back, it'll be Andrew Walker, our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game show host on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation
Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
The weather doesn't care about your shift or your schedule. Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts let you battle back against the ever-changing elements. Carhartt's durable, water-repellent technology lets light rain beat up and roll right off. Layer up and stay on the job longer without getting drenched. Get your Carhartt Rain Defender sweatshirts at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations.
Job site workwear, tough different tough jobs.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
Welcome back to the big program, 720 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing, your vehicle, from tires to wheels to oil changes, even vehicle repairs. We've got you covered at Fountain Tire. Visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today as we welcome in Andrew Walker, our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game show host. Walks, can't thank you enough to come in to lead things off on a Friday morning after a late one for you last night, big fella. Thanks a lot, man.
Oh, no. Yeah, no problem. Tell you what, if they were on the wrong side of the 8-1 loss, I may not have answered my phone, but they got a big win, so I'm here.
I'll tell you what, Duke and I were talking about it when we left on the bus yesterday for Legal and the Critters, because the last 4 days have been a little contentious. There's been so much controversy, from not just the Oilers, but the Olympic team and everything like that. And I was thinking, man, if they could just win an easy one tonight, would make for a nice, easy show Friday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. It's so funny, right? Because, I think going into the break, I was talking about this last night. I mean, teams lose games. It's not the end of the world. But when you lose to Toronto and they stink, and you lose to Calgary and they stink, everyone was just, everybody was excited for the break. No one wanted to watch the Oilers for a few weeks. And then Canada loses the heartbreaker, and then they come back, and it took one game for everybody to be upset again. And I don't blame them, right? Like, that performance from Tristan Jarry the other night was, you're not going to win like that. And so all of a sudden, you start to think about worst case scenario. And listen, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I still have faith in the team to get it done when it counts. But I would say a Connor McDavid in his prime era team to miss the postseason is far, far worse than anything we ever saw in the decade of darkness. And that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that is bang on. I mean, it's not even close that what we saw there for those 8-9 years or whatever it was. But yeah, it just can't happen. At what point last night?
It's all fixed now. LA is the cure that ails you.
But they gave up 8. They gave up 6 the night before, so 14. I wouldn't be surprised, and I know he's a good buddy of mine. I played junior with him. If Jimmy Hiller gets the can here, it wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise me. I think when the fans start chanting, your days are numbered. I worked with Jim a little bit in the Western League, and he's a really
great guy.
He's a really good man. I actually had a nice, excuse me, chat with him a couple of years ago when they were here for the postseason. Nice guy, but I think he was definitely out coached in the playoff series last year. I think we all remember that, and and then you better be a whole lot better this year, and they're a whole lot worse. So
and I mean, Kenny Holland's done it before, but he doesn't really do it that often, So like in-season coaching changes. So we'll see what happens there. Hey, at what point, Walks, did you start to feel okay? This one is well in hand. Was it after the McDavid goal? We were watching in after the game in Legal and saw the Mangiapane and Connor goals. So is that where it started to just kind of run away from the Kings and heavily favored into the Oilers' hands?
Legal, hey, how far is that?
About an hour. Beautiful facility, man. This rink. And that was unreal last night, and we had a hell of a time last night. There's no doubt.
Yeah, it's ironic because as a younger guy, I subscribed for years to barely Legal.
Yeah, they were the Legal legends last night. Very high, hey, like the French population there, and I met a lot of great people last night. Man, it was great.
Okay, to answer your question, I thought, the key moment in the game, which sounds silly because it was 8-1, but it was the 4-minute penalty kill. I mean, that was big because you thought they were going to tie it at 2, and here we go again, right? Just like Anaheim. The Mangiapane goal was obviously nice, and then when Connor McDavid put that in, that was it. Like I was not mentally worried that what if they gas a 4-1 lead? LA doesn't score goals, and after that, it was just point night. So it was good. And to be honest, like the other night in Anaheim, it wasn't far off from being like that. Like goaltending, you think, it doesn't matter when, it's 8-1. If Connor Ingram allows a softie at 2-1 or 3-1, this game could have been totally different. And the game could have been different in Anaheim. They could have won 6-1 or 7-1. If Jari just makes the saves he's supposed to. So it's not always, it's like, this goaltender is good because he makes spectacular saves. It's never been the MO in Edmonton. You don't need a goalie to be Dominic Hasek. You just need him not to poo his pants. And like, what an opportunity. I'm disappointed, man, in Jari, because what an opportunity here to completely revive your career. You don't have to be amazing. You just have to be good. And, so he gets pulled in a 5-5 game. It's a big statement. And all of a sudden, what an opportunity for Ingram. They only got a couple of back-to-backs the rest of the year. It might be Ingram's crease. All you have to do is keep it.
And, some people might say, well, the way things went, and sometimes a veteran coach will go, I might go back to the guy that we're paying the big bucks to and the guy that we traded for here. But, right now, they're at a point where whoever's playing well, it's their net. And that means, Connor Ingram is playing on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. There's no doubt about it.
100%. And that 3 weeks off helps too, I think. And if he plays, well against San Jose, he's going right back again on Tuesday. At least that's what I would do. I mean, this isn't October now. I've always said the Oilers play well when it matters, and it matters right now. I mean, there's 22 games to go now, and they're 1-1 since the break. And out of 22, I would say, if you want to win 14 or 15 of them, right? Like that's what you need to do. So there's no more, let's, ease this guy back in. It's go time. It has to be.
Andrew Walker with us here on Sports 1440. Even on the game in Anaheim, Ty Emberson, I thought when he took a penalty on the play, but really was strong, erasing a guy. And that shouldn't have been a penalty. It saved a goal, and then he gets a goal last night. I thought he was pretty good again. So what have you made of Emberson here in these two games?
I've really liked him. I mean, I've liked him most of the year. He's not a high-end guy, obviously. Like, he is the epitome of a 5'6", but I think he's been one of the Oilers' more reliable guys. And also, I thought Stastny was quite good last night, too. Makes a great play on Kopitar, really good stick a couple of times. See Paul Coffey talking to him on the bench. Everyone's talking about, what they could add at the deadline. And I mean, who knows what they're going to be able, to do money-wise. But, a scoring winger and, a little toughness and obviously another centerman would be good. And all of a sudden, with the team defense, we've heard about, they need to bring in a deed upgrade somewhere. And the thing is, as much as they've struggled, like, Nurse and Wallman aren't coming out of the lineup, right? Like, so it would mean one of Stastny or Emerson turns into into more of a depth guy like the Troy Stetcher in and out of the lineup. They don't want that. And this defense, they just gave 7x7 to Wallman. They've been to 2 straight Cup finals. This defense was supposed to be good enough, and on paper it looks pretty good, right? So I think that core wears it pretty personally. They parachute in Paul Coffey, which is as much as they like Paul Coffey, it has to be a little embarrassing for the D core. But I think there's, even with Nurse Wallman, I think there's a pairing there. It's
that was my next question for you, Walks. Do you think that there can be a pairing there? Because what we saw in Anaheim, there wasn't, because they're just so out of sync. But can this possibly be a pairing with Wallman on his offside?
I mean, I think so. Or you break up Ekholm, Bouchard, and you make a couple of pairings. But like those are. Listen, Nurse has had a rough year. There's no doubt, and Wallman has never really gotten on track, since missing some time with an injury. And you would hope that's why Wednesday, I should say, was so disappointing, because there was 3 weeks off. It was supposed to be this great reset, and I guess if you were expecting some brand new brilliant structure in the 1995 New Jersey Devils, you're not going to see it in the first game. And if you watched any hockey that night around the NHL, there was a ton of games that were a dog's breakfast. I think it'll take some time for the Oilers to, if they make these improvements, to really, like you said, sync up. But they don't have a lot of time to play with, obviously. And they still could have beat Anaheim, and 2 points would have made the pill a little easier to swallow. And to me, that is on Jarry as much as Nurse struggled. But yeah, listen, I do believe that Nurse and Wallman can be a pair. They have the resumes. We've seen it. Nurse had a wonderful year last year, and this year has been their worst defenseman. There's no getting around it. But as I've said a few times lately, it feels like a new season, right? This 24 games is crunch time. And I do think this market, and there's examples, right? Connor Brown is a great one. There's a lot of examples on this team of guys that, the whole bottom 6, Adam Henrique, Nurse, Wallman, Jarry. If you play well in the final 24 games, nobody cares about the first 58, right? Unless you really have an axe to grind. At least that's where I am, right? I know the ceiling of this team. We all do. If you play well down the stretch and then into the playoffs, nobody cares about the first 58. Connor Brown went 62 games without a goal. That guy was Spengler Cup bound, right? That's where his career was headed. He's still playing, right? Because he turned it around, and there's the sun comes up again, and it did for Brown, and it could for a lot of these guys.
Brown's a perfect example of a guy that did absolutely nothing, and then the fans gave him a lift, and once he scored that goal, all of a sudden, man, and he continued on, and he had the confidence, started to build and build and build, and he turned into the player that they thought they were getting. Andrew Walker.
Also, Kev, they don't. This is a funny roster, because someone asked me a question the other day, and it wasn't like some brilliant hockey mind or anything like that. But in relation to the trade deadline, they asked, "Hey, who should the Oilers be getting rid of?" And I thought, wow, what a weird way to phrase a question, but isn't it interesting? Because there's a lot of guys that they would probably like to move on, but this team is really interesting because when it comes to roster construction, there's 2 types of players on this team. One, the guys that the Oilers would never trade, and B, the guys that nobody wants. And there's no in between, right? The only in between is probably a guy you brought up, like Ty Emberson. I like him. The team likes him. If a team really wanted Ty Emberson to get a deal done, you'd probably do it. But that's about it. You're not trading Podkolzin, you're not trading Savoy, you're not trading the core guys, and then the Nurses and the Wallman making 7x7 and the Fredericks and the Mangiapane. No one wants these guys. No one wants the money. So I don't exactly know how the Oilers are going to maneuver at the deadline. Now, there's always creative ways, obviously, but there's not a real good candidate to move out.
They only have the Ike Howard's the only guy of currency that other teams would be interested in, and then the only other things
he's not even on the roster.
Yeah, the only other things are the 27 and 28 first rounders. Other than that, the currency that they have to deal with is just almost non-existent. And that's the way it is.
I mean, listen, would a team take another year of Mangiapane? Sure, you could convince them to do that, but like to do that, you got to give a sweetener. And there's just no sweetener.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you'd be looking at, I don't know, Mangiapane in a second. What does that get you? It gets you something, but not much. And then if you want to bring in a second guy somehow, I just don't.
Here's the thing too, Walks. And I mean, everyone's still thinking about the trade deadline without being cap compliant as we have in the past. It's a whole new ball game out there, isn't it? Because now you think about it where people are saying, oh, I'll just bring on this contract and we'll figure it out till we get to the end of the season. And it doesn't matter. Now it's different. Being cap compliant totally handcuffs so many deals here. It just does.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I actually don't even know, man. I don't even know what my opinion is on. I'm glad the cap is going up. I don't think I'm a fan of no salary cap. You need like some sort of competitive balance. But I also know that like, let's put Savoy down in the minors over the break because we can accrue cap space in this $35,000. Oh, we can't bring up Szymanski because the bonuses turn him into 1.6. We've lost the plot here. This isn't hockey. It's a little ridiculous, but again, you find a way, and they'll find it again, right? Like,
but you know how it's worked, right?
There's a structure. Teams will find a way to cheat it, and a lot of teams did.
But I mean, everyone's hands are tied now, and that's the thing that no one's really talking about. To be honest with you, they're thinking that people can make and GMs can make these trades like they have in the past, and they can't because their roster just won't allow it once the playoffs start because you're not able to use that money like you did in years past for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Walks, with Connor McDavid getting 100 points last night. Now, the 9th time that he's done it. Mario did it 10. Wayne Gretzky's done it 15. Do you think that Connor McDavid can touch Wayne Gretzky's 15 100-point seasons?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I'm actually, out of all the records that Gretzky has, and so many of them are insanely unbreakable, and it's a little different because that 15, like McDavid's had a couple of years of 100 points. Like Gretzky never had 100 points. That would be a terrible season. He had 180, 170, 3 times over 200. He put up crazy points. Like no one's touching his career points. But if you want to look at that record, 15 seasons of 100 and more, it's absolutely an achievable record. Not for a mortal person, but McDavid could, and I think absolutely will get there.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be, he's got a half dozen more to go, and barring injury, he's a 100-point guy every season. So,
and 100 is the low end barring injury. We got 22 games to go, and he hits 100, right? He's a 140-point guy this year.
The other thing too is that when some guys have to rely on a shot, some guys have to rely on certain other things when their wheels slow down. But I don't know when we're going to see a big difference between Connor's speed to where it gets down to where it's the same as everyone. You know what I mean?
If Connor lost a step, he'd be Jack Hughes, who is pretty quick, right?
He's quick is right. Hey, 2 late nights for you, Walks, and then an afternoon one tomorrow.
I know, and I went, and your team needed a.
Did you skate yesterday?
On Thursday, so I also skated yesterday.
Oh boy, how was the skate? I heard White dominated.
Yeah, because I moved over to Team Blue, so it was a good night for White.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard that last night. We were just talking. What are you at, 6 skates a week?
Well, no, I mean I have the potential to play Monday through Saturday, but I can't put my body through that. So I will do generally 4 a week, but the days could vary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could have used you last night in Legal. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I there's something to do. It's complicated with the courts or whatever, but I have to stay about 5 kilometers away from Legal. So
it's a wonderful facility, and we had
have enough guys throwing pies in the face.
Yeah, and to be honest, everyone kind of knows that joke. I don't think the guys in Legal knew what was coming.
Well, those small towns, I grew up in one, word gets a little slower, so when they get the internet, when Legal gets the internet, they'll have a good idea.
Yeah. All right, Walks. Thanks, man. Have a good show tomorrow, pre and post for the afternoon tilt.
All right. See you, fellas. See you, noobs.
Yeah, that's Andrew Walker, our pre and post game show host here on Sports 1440 and the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And again, the focus is on one thing, and it is your vehicle. Visit fountaintire.com to book your appointment today. I wasn't sure. He did a little pinch hitting for me, Duke, yesterday for our Thursday skate at the Argyle.
And by the sounds of it, he filled your spot really well by being a benefit to the opposition.
I think we won on Monday though. So
okay.
So I was thinking me being not there on Thursday, big difference,
Mm-hmm.
I got the call last night from Rene Spinner Montpetit, who's from Legal. And anyway, he says, "Hey, are you in Legal right now? My brother's at the game. He says he saw you on the ice." And then so I went and sort of talked to his brother Andre. That was one of the guys I was talking to, Duke. And they have a big farm. I think he said towards Bonnecourt, but yeah. So I'm not totally familiar with how everything works in that area, but he's got a big outfit. I think pretty big outfit.
Sure, yeah, that's a good country up there. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me. I'll say this: going back to last night's contest in Legal and all the festivities off the ice in particular, because the on ice spectacle for you and me specifically is something we probably don't want to get into too much. I thought Marty would do all of his pregame mic work and stuff in French to celebrate Legal and its francophone community.
That's right. And if you listened really to the player introductions, Duke,
a lot of French names,
pretty well every one, I thought.
Yeah.
There was
a Jean Paul,
no Smiths and Jones.
No,
here,
several Deschamplains, which is our ref Evil. That's where his family hails from. So lots of relatives of his in the lineup, and a great part of the community. So yeah, Deschamplains, some Jean Pauls, this and that. Pelches, I think, were some of the last names. Yeah, very, very obvious the French influence up in that neck of the woods.
I had a great conversation with Mr. Sear. Now his first name starts with an R, and I don't know. I don't think it was Rial, but I can't remember Mr. Sear. So he's a really nice gentleman. And his grandson we were talking about used to play for the Golden Bears, and now he's playing in Cleveland. Sachenko, the goaltender, is playing for the Monsters.
A couple of NHL games under his belt with the Sharks.
Yeah,
a number of years ago. So
Sachenko.
Yeah. He was great with the Bears. He was awesome.
Really good. Yeah, he was really good. But man, I was
Moose Jaw Warrior, I think, right in the Dubs.
I think so. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Duke. We've gone to many communities here in the last couple of years, and it's been just a pleasure every time we go. And we get treated like gold out there, and the fans are great. And like we were on the ice again for the first goal, which is the pie goal. Did you get the feeling that they didn't know what was up to?
I'll be honest, Kev, because I've been to a few more games than you have over the past couple of years. I feel like it's a pretty good mix of places that don't know and do, because there's communities that the Critters go to every few years, really, right? And so the familiarity, if you've been there before or something, it's obviously you remember and it sticks in your mind. But yeah, last night it definitely seemed very fresh and unaware that was coming. So that was good. And that always makes it kind of fun too, when some of the shticks and the fun elements of a Critters game are fresh and not expected.
Yeah, and those guys, I mean, they came out pretty hard, Duke. We were down 2.
They were a good team, man. Holy.
And then they sort of realized that
their level of competition maybe wasn't quite on par.
Well, they realized that there's a few little tricks up the sleeves of the Critters.
We find a way, Kev.
Score a few goals.
They could call us the Gritters because we're so gritty.
Oh yeah,
we find a way to win games.
Yeah. I was talking about meeting Wes Montgomery's great grandson after the game. Triple O texts in, morning KK, great memories of the legend Wes Montgomery. His sly comments at Esks games when he was the announcer at Commonwealth were hilarious. And they were again, Wes was very quick-witted, sharp. He could read a room, and in a conversation, you would call Wes a hell of a conversationalist. And whatever you were saying, he would pick up immediately and be able to give you a little shot, a little zinger, something like that. And man, those were great times having a couple of beers with the great Wes Montgomery. When we come back, maybe we'll get to some Oilers post-game comments from last night. Chris Knobloch, Jake Wallman, Zach Hyman addressed the media following the 8-1 victory in Los Angeles. The Oilers with a day off today. They'll go to San Jose tomorrow afternoon. It's a Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Whoa, I gotta put some money on the game tonight. We hit our monthly budget. Whoa, how did you get in here? I'm you, the responsible you. We're right. We'll play another time. Sounds more like us.
If you gamble, use your game sense. Visit GameSenseAB.ca.
Dennis here from Weiss Johnson, along with my brother Mark.
Hi there.
My bro is the go-to for all our tough installs.
I do all the hard work. He gets all the glory. Mister, I'm on the radio.
Hey, we can't all be famous, but seriously, Mark's the best. And he's here if you're looking to add a legal basement suite in your home.
We install tons of furnace systems for folks wanting basement suites. It helps to subsidize their mortgages.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Obviously.
Weiss Johnson, your legal suite heating system experts.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 7:46 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, and Josh Fenwick with you here on a Friday morning. It's Playlist Friday. Get them in. Duke will get them on. We got several requests coming in. There was one I've never even heard of that group or that song, but we'll maybe Duke can find it and we'll figure it out. You know, we were talking about the Kings game, obviously, and the Oilers and how the Kings were, they looked terrible. The Oilers full marks for the win, but on that Connor McDavid goal when he just waited and waited and waited, and Darcy Kemper was basically 20 feet out of his net, maybe more. So anyway, I don't know why, and Josh, I know you're a big movie guy. I don't know why I felt that I found this parallel between when Connor came around and had more time and waited and waited and waited, and Drew Doughty ended up kind of on the ice. And he's lying on the ice, and Connor still sort of goes shelf on Doughty, who's trying to cover the bottom part of the net, I guess. I don't know what he's just, flailing around in there. The old movie Castaway with Tom Hanks, when he's on his last day on that raft, and that big tanker comes by, and the horn blows and he's raising his hand in the air like there's nothing left. And Doughty did that last night in the crease. And I thought, like, this is the end. Like, the Kings have nothing. Like, the tanker's coming by and Doughty's raising his hand up. And I was thinking, man, oh man, that reminded me of Castaway and the Kings. That's how bad they were last night, and desperation. And the raft is ready to just be dismantled. And all that little homemade rope that was made is barely hanging on. So that's what I thought of the Kings last night, if there's some sort of a parallel to be drawn. Jake Wallman and Darnell Nurse had a rough game on Wednesday in Anaheim. Bounced back last night. Wallman had a couple of goals in garbage time in the third period, but goals are goals, and he needs his confidence to be continuing to build moving forward. And following the game, Jake Wallman addressed the media and had these comments.
Jake, how important was it for you guys to respond in the manner that you did tonight?
Yeah, obviously huge. It's nice when you can play right away and get back at it. So I thought we fixed some things and we're kind of building. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're doing well.
On the defensive side of the game, what did you think was maybe cleaner tonight compared to other games and maybe specifically last night?
I think for a lot of last night too, we were really good with it. I think we got relaxed last night and we learned from that tonight. We especially in that third there when we were up, we kind of that was the most important part of the game, I would say, just to not sit back and keep playing the way we can. And I think that's just the way we got to move forward and play.
What can you say about how steady Connor Ingram is? He looks like that every single time he's in net.
Yeah, just solid, steady, like you said. He's got that kind of quiet confidence, I think. So it's nice. Made a bunch of great saves tonight, so it really helped us out.
Take a big time response game, obviously, for you guys. How do you guys go about finding the consistency that's been kind of elusive with this group with the rest of the way, especially when you need it at the stage?
I don't think it's been elusive, maybe up to this point, but in the past, this team knows exactly what it takes. So we just got to find that. Like you said, this is the playoff push for us now. It's a tight race, and we just got to play every game like it's our last.
What's Ingram like in net? You've had lots of goalers over your years. What's he, dealing with him, talking to him? You're a defenseman. What are his treats?
He's quiet. Great person off the ice. I think, like I said, probably quiet confidence. Really fun to talk to. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk to him, but he's a great personality, and I think he really, he finds himself making those big saves, and it's kind of what this group needs at some point. Every once in a while there's a breakdown and you need a save, and tonight he was there.
Better than you think, or better than maybe we think. He went away for a while. We didn't see him. He played in Arizona for a long time. We didn't see him that much. He's a better goalie than people think he is.
I don't know. You guys follow his career more than I do, but since he's been here, he's been really solid. That's all I know. And it's the first time meeting him this year. So yeah, he's been great for us.
That's Jake Wallman had 2 goals last night in the third period. He played the most of any Oiler last night. Played 22 minutes and 8 seconds. He was +3. So, a really good bounce back game for him and Darnell Nurse, who was also +3, played 21-20. Basically, and this is game script because we saw more of Stastny and more from Emberson. Bouchard and Ekholm's minutes were dialed back a lot because they are, they're the horses and play more than anyone, as a pairing, especially Evan Bouchard. It's funny, the defenseman picked up 6 points between all defensemen. On a night where you get 8 goals, you kind of go, okay, some guys think you should be able to get a couple points here and there. And then, R&H gets 0 points. I was thinking, those are the games where you go, okay, just a second. We scored 8. And how did I not get anything?
Well, forget a guy like Nuge, who, so he's having another fine season and riding shotgun with Connor McDavid in particular, maybe questions that. But on a night where it does seem that everybody's getting on the score sheet, even a guy like Trent Frederick, who I thought was fine last night, actually had some real positive standout points, which is an improvement from what we've seen a lot this year. He also just can't buy one at this point, right? Yeah. Can't even get a secondary assist or something to get him on the sheet. And like Curtis Lazar, a 0, Adam Henrique, the other 0 for the forward group. And like Lazar, he was on the ice for the Mangiapane goal, and
he goes to the net.
he's driving the net and kind of helping. He forces, I think Dumoulin was the defenseman, right, to try and play and shift back to the middle, giving Mangiapane the lane to the net. Makes a great shot. Again, maybe one you'd like your goalie to save under most circumstances, but that was about the story of the night for the Kings. So it's funny how it works out, but I'm sure that's probably not top of mind for any of these guys that even did put goose eggs. They're pretty happy with a resounding victory to erase some of those ugly thoughts from the night previous.
Well, and again, with that play that you're talking about, great on Lazard to drive, and what that did, it gave Mangiapane that extra split second. If you really look at him, he puts his head down, and then he puts his head up, and he really picks his spot, and a really good shot. And he, there's again the confidence that a guy needs. It goes without saying. He's got 7 goals on the year, 7 assists. He's dashed 19. But, what happens if he has a really good game in San Jose? Frederick has been good the last 2 games coming out of the break here. So Frederick, he's not going anywhere really because of the contract. Mangiapane, everyone knows that he's been shopped for months here. But if Mangiapane all of a sudden plays really, really well against the Sharks, now everyone's going, okay, at least his stock is going up. You're getting a little more oomph for the possibility of the trade. But then all of a sudden you go, well, can he be a fourth liner here? Can he be someone that can contribute? That's always in the back of your mind as a management goes, because that's the reason you brought him here. And to be honest with you, they brought him here at the start to be a top 6 guy, to be a top 6 forward. That was where he was penciled in the beginning of the year, and that's where he was. Look at Trent Frederick. Man, he started the year with McDavid and Draisaitl on the first line, for Pete's sake. So maybe you look at it and go, sometimes if you can't make a deal, we got to go with who we can. And if Mangiapane can get his game back, listen, the days of Andre Mangiapane scoring 30 goals in the NHL, 35 was the anomaly 4 years ago. But, if he's a 20-goal guy in the NHL, that's absolutely massive. I don't think he ever gets back to that. But if he can get a dozen here or 14, maybe he goes on a bit of a run here because they definitely need it. And he might not be here within a week either. So you never know what's going to happen. Top of the hour, we got Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet, in LA, getting ready to go to San Jose. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting. As St. Albert and surrounding areas, premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers bounced back in a big way last night. 8-1 the final in their win over the Kings from Los Angeles. Leon Draisaitl, 4 points, including a goal to hit 30 on the season. And Connor McDavid, goal and assist. He hits the 100-point plateau for the 9th time in his career. Around the rest of the NHL, 11 games total, including Matthew Schaefer with a pair of goals in the Islanders' 4-3 OT win over Montreal. The Maple Leafs lose big in Florida, 5-1 to the Panthers. Lightning fall to the Hurricanes, 5-4. Dylan Holloway with a hat trick in the Blues, 5-1 victory over Seattle. And the Flames, they beat the Sharks 4-1 from Northern California. In the PWHL's return to action last night without Marie-Philippe Poulin, Montreal still takes care of business, 4-1 winners over New York. And in the AJ, Camrose, Kodiak's losing to Drumheller 5-4. In the association, full set of games last night, including the Mavericks losing to Sacramento 130-121. Suns topped the Lakers 113-110. End of the nightcap, low-scoring affair. Timberwolves get past the Clippers 94-88. And on the local scene, volleyball from the Saville Center yesterday afternoon, beginning of Can West playoff action quarterfinals. Pandas take it 3-1 over the Westmen to open up a 1-0 series lead. And the Bears, they sweep it 3-0, also over Winnipeg. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show. We'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business, get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email, gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Once upon this Saturday night, your heroes on the Edmonton Oil Kings host some extra special royalty in Ice District. Tomorrow, Princess Night at Rogers Place is back as your Regal Oil Kings look to vanquish the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Fans can dress as their favorite royal, get a free tiara, and find princesses roaming the concourse all night for the ultimate selfie. Plus, Calmont Kids food combos are $10 or less. The value is king-sized. Edmonton Oil Kings, Princess Night, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Happily Ever After entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Oh, man, I rewatched everything. I think the couch has a permanent dent in it. I've got to get out of here.
Feeling a little cooped up? Break free from cabin fever with a new ride from Nisku Ford. This February, the open road is calling. Answer it in a brand new Ford and get interest rates as low as 0% or rebates up to $8,500. It's the perfect excuse to escape the house and rediscover the joy of driving. Your adventure starts at Nisku Ford. See our inventory today at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's going to come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm going to keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
The Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton, and time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Fall in love with Buick for the month of February. Lease a 2026 Buick Envision all-wheel drive with $0 down and $265 bi-weekly payments, and that also includes GST. Shop now at NorthgateGM.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet, who is in SoCal, was at Crypto.com Arena last night. Good morning, Spec.
Well, it's funny how fast the karma turns around. One night your goalie stinks, and the next night the other guy's goalie stinks.
Well, you know what? I love that because I told Duke, I said, Duke, did you know it was country night last night? And he goes, where? And I said, well, at Crypto.com Arena. Yeah. I said, you got to read Spec's first line about busting the truck, stealing their girl. You should have had something about the dog in there, Spec.
I almost did, but I liked taking the 2 points over the county line even better, buddy.
Because I remember my buddy Lyle Odeline. He was asked about where he came from. He said somewhere in the prairies, like Quill Lake, he said, in Saskatchewan. And someone said, well, where's that? What's it all about? He goes, well, if your dog runs away on you, you can watch it run away for 2 days.
Mm-hmm. In Saskatchewan. Yeah. That lead was my ode to, remember the great old Edmonton Sun writer, Dick Chubay?
Oh, for sure, Tubes. Yeah.
Yeah, he used to like if he rode 7 pieces in a week, 4 of them would have a lead that was some line ripped off from the latest country song on the charts.
Yeah. I used to golf with. Sorry, go ahead, Spec.
He used a country song lead, man, more often than any sports writer I ever met. When I was tapping that out last night, I was thinking of Tubes.
When I first got here, I used to golf with Tubes.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he couldn't see his ball. He'd say, "Where to go? Did you see it? Where to go?"
Yeah, he ended up with like glaucoma or something.
Like that, yeah. Wow.
I always bug Maddie because Tubes was a lousy golfer and couldn't see a lick. And I think he's got like 3 or 4 holes in one now. And poor Maddie's golf since he was 6 years old. He still doesn't have his first one yet.
Really? Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, if you ever run into Maddie, just mention, did you hear Tubes got another hole in one?
I think because we golfed and there was a couple things. What was the guy that came up from the Sun in Calgary? Larry Tucker.
Yeah, Larry Tucker. Yeah.
That was another guy that was I remember golfing with him in the late 90s, Spec, and some guy hit a ball and someone said on the tee box, sounded good. And Tucker looked at the guy and said, if he would have wanted it to sound good, he would have hit it with his violin. It's just unreal. So,
those guys are characters.
Big turnaround, Spec. Big turnaround. And like Ingram wasn't totally busy, but I mean, he came up with some solid saves. And hey, the net's his as long as he wants it, I think. What do you think?
Well, certainly, I think we're into that territory now. Everybody's had some time to stake their claim here. And, I mean, it was Jari's net to lose. And I could say to you that for now, he's probably lost it a little bit. I don't think they're not going to play him. I don't think it's going to be, 70-30 for Ingram. But I'll tell you what, they want to win 2 in a row here. I would be very surprised if Ingram didn't start on Saturday in San Jose for sure. He was very solid. The other thing to me that's come around in these 2 games is the penalty kill. That everyone after the game was talking about how the game was in the balance. It was 2-1 Oilers when Nurse got nailed for that 4-minute high sticking penalty. Kind of a weird one. It was like a butt end last night.
Well, that's the only penalties they took, right?
I think that's the only penalty they took, but it was crucial. It was at the end of the period. It was 2-1. Kings could have tied it, gone into the intermission, tied or ahead. And, Ingram made a couple saves in that PK, but he barely saw any action. It was, the PK would be what? One would be they've killed 6 or 7 in these last 2 games.
Correct.
And the way it was hemorrhaging goals heading into the break, you just can't win games when you're giving up 2 a night. So that's a big sign if that PK could put it together.
Well, the PK went from 10th Spec to 26th in the league in about a 10-day period before the break. Hey, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that power play. So for the 4 minutes, the usage of Panarin, what did you see like in the rink about the usage of?
I thought they were forcing it to him, actually. I thought they were kind of forcing it to him. I thought the Oilers must have done a pre-scout because they were ready for it. It was a little reminiscent of sometimes when Draisaitl gets hot and starts scoring and the other teams just say, okay, whatever happens, we're going to take Draisaitl away.
Mm-hmm.
So are you still there? I'm losing you.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Okay. So anyway, that's what I thought. I thought that they have a new toy on their power play and they were forcing the puck to them a little bit. What do you think?
Well, again, I didn't totally watch the entirety of the game. I watched the second period and I missed that part of the game. That's the 4 minutes that I didn't watch and dissected it. So I'll be honest with you. And that's why
they never got a sniff. Yeah. Like the Kings just couldn't, you never know. Like we cover the Oilers. So I'm going to say to you, the Oilers PK was awesome and they didn't give LA a sniff. If we covered the Kings, I'd be saying to you, man, that power play stunk. They got to do a better job of that. So that's the way it works. But from an Edmonton perspective, it was a harmless 4-minute power play. They must have iced the puck, 7 times. It was very, very well played by the Oilers.
Mm-hmm. Mark Spector with us in Los Angeles, was at the game last night at Crypto.com Arena. Connor McDavid reaches the 100-point mark, Spec, for the 9th time. Wayne Gretzky's got 15. Mario's got 10. Do you think, can Connor McDavid, is he going to get to 15, do you think?
Well, it's funny. Like I said in my post-game hit with Andrew Walker for Ed's Auto Salvage out of Westlock, I think he could do that. Yeah, I think he can. Why not? He should have an extra 100-point season because in the lockout year, they only played 64 games and he got 97 points.
Yeah.
Right? Ed's Auto Salvage out of Westlock.
Oh, man. That's unbelievable, Spec.
I need a T-shirt from that place, man.
We got to get some gear.
we got to get some gear from Ed's place.
Well, do you think Butch Bell, like maybe he's up there going to that place too?
Oh yeah, Ed's Autos could be.
You never know. We might need some stuff out of there, Spec. You never know.
Well, I bought a truck from Mike up at Northgate Chev, a good solid sponsor. I guess if I bust that truck up and I need a quarter panel, I know where to go.
Quarter. You don't even know what a quarter panel is. Hey, what did you make? You know, like again, it was a rough game for Wallman and Nurse in Anaheim. And Wallman had the 2 goals in the third. Just maybe touch on that pairing and if this can work going forward.
Well, it's one game in a row here, so I don't know. I thought that for me, that pair really settled their game down. I thought Nurse last night played simple hockey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure that after a rough night in Anaheim for Nurse, that Paul Coffey went to work a little bit. I'm sure that I would have to think there was a conversation there. And I just thought Nurse played the quiet game he needs to play. You know, I was watching Nurse, you know, from above, and I kept a real good eye on his game for the first 2 periods anyway. And he just, if you weren't looking for him, he didn't stand out to you. You know, he was in position. He made his plays. He got the puck. He outletted it, successfully. He followed the play up. He didn't go deep more than 2 or 3 times. He just played a real quiet, solid game of hockey. We've all watched Darnell Nurse play his whole life here.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that that's when he is the best defenseman for your team. The quieter Nurse's game is, the better player he is. And he was quiet and good and physical and well-positioned last night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, I'll give Nurse credit because he's the guy on the ice doing it. But it sure did smell like Paul Coffey had kind of settled him down a little bit last night, which is why he's here.
Let me throw this one at you, Spec. Is there any way Andrew Mangiapane gets a goal last night, big one, big goal, gets an assist? We know he's been on the trade block for months here. Is there any way that the Oilers go, maybe there's something salvageable here that we don't deal him? But you look at the salary cap savings if they can, and there's a lot of things and moving parts to weigh into here. But do you think that ever comes into conversation where maybe the answer for some depth is right here in front of us, a la like how it was with Connor Brown a couple of years ago, who did nothing for 60 games either?
I don't know. I feel like Bowman can't do anything unless he clears some cap space.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, they've lost Janmark. I think Bob Stauffer on the radio yesterday was saying last night that he thought it was a shoulder. I've now run across him twice in the hallways in an arena, and Janmark walks by like totally normal guy. So I have no clue what his injury is.
Yeah.
But he's out long term, according to Knobloch, and long term might mean the rest of the season. There's only 25 games left. So my point is this: Bowman's got to clear some cap space somewhere to bring in a defenseman that he needs. So I don't see how Mangiapane isn't that cap space.
Because the two of them add up to about 4.5.
Yeah. So now and four and a half.
Pardon me, it's 3.6 and 1.4. So it's 5.
I call it 5, and that's in like real dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the end of the season here. So, and if you get the other team to retain $5 million in cap space, might be able to turn that into two players,
Mm-hmm.
right? You might be able to turn that into two players.
Yeah.
So could Mangiapane score some goals and be more valuable? I think the biggest value he'd have is if you have to attach something to him to move the player. Maybe if he starts going hot, a second round pick turns into a third round pick. I don't know. But I don't. If not Mangiapane, somebody's got to move to find a defenseman that you're looking for to hopefully, maybe find a third line center. I don't know if we can do all this, but if not Mangiapane's cap space, who's it going to be, Kev?
Yeah. What about Trent Frederick? What do you think of his game last night? Even the night before, Adam together, Duke was saying even in an 8-1 game, the guy can't buy a point.
Oh, even in an 8-1 game, the guy can't buy a point. I was saying that last night. I mean, somebody kick one in after he passes it to you, will you? Holy cow. Malott was after him. As soon as it was 2-0, Malott was after him last night, and I thought he was smart. That's not a – then in the second period, I think it was maybe the third, I don't know. It was like 5-1, and Malott wanted to fight him again, and he said, I'm not going to fight you, and I don't blame him a bit. What's in that for Trent Frederick?
No, that was a good call by him. That was at the very beginning of the third period.
Yeah, there's no need. I think we've all seen that Trent Frederick will fight when he has to. We can quibble over whether that always happens, whether it doesn't, whatever. He doesn't have to prove anything by fighting that guy in a 5-1 game. So that was good. I think he's getting in. He's doing what he's supposed to do. The points have to follow. He made a couple nice plays last night. He moved the puck well. He kept the puck alive in the offensive zone, did all the things that usually lead to a point somewhere down the road. But man, the guy's cursed like nothing goes in when he's on the ice.
Yeah. Just a quick thought on tomorrow, an afternoon game in San Jose here, Spec. And the Flames did the Oilers a bit of a favor by beating the Sharks last night.
Yeah, it was a good night for the Oil last night. LA lost, Seattle lost, San Jose lost. So that's always good, I suppose.
Yeah.
I would say to you that really, if the Oilers get some goaltending in Anaheim, they're 2-0 on this trip.
For sure.
They scored 8 in LA. They scored 5 in Anaheim. They had the lead all night in Anaheim. They should have won the game. Right? Should have won the game. There's 3 goals that go in that shouldn't go in. So really, we should be talking about an Oilers team that's coming out of the break pretty well here. That's finding its game pretty well here. Yeah.
Worst case scenario, Spec, you're getting a point. You're getting to overtime in Anaheim.
Should have got to overtime.
Yeah.
Sure. Worst case scenario. So their game, I think they can look in the mirror today. The Oilers are taking a day off. They're not practicing. They can look in the mirror and say, hey, things are going pretty well. We're playing the way we wanted to play. Most importantly, defensively, like I saw where LA hit, according to Natural Stat Trick, I looked it up last night. They had 5 high danger chances in that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you play hockey. That's how you win. Like if you limit the other team to 5 and you get some goaltending, you're gonna limit the other team to 1 or 2 goals in a game, and that's how you win hockey games at this time of year. It can't be 5 going in.
Yeah.
What do you think about Hiller? Does Hiller make the weekend here or what? That was the over-under at the game last night.
I just said to Andrew Walker, we had him on earlier, and I think I've told you I've known Jim a long time. We played junior hockey together in Melville.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah. We played, that was in 1988, I think it was.
62,
1987, 88. And obviously I've known him a long time, and we were pretty good friends back in the day and good teammates. I said to Walker, I said, I don't know if he does. I don't know if he lasts the rest of the season. Having said that, and Kenny Holland, he's done in-season coaching changes, but he shies away from him. And this late, who knows? But they gave up 14 goals in 2 games. There, Spec.
Yeah,
14 goals in 2 home games. So,
well, and the Vegas game, they gave up 6 to a Vegas team that was missing 5 Olympians.
Didn't have anyone.
The LA guys said they lost to Henderson. that was the line yesterday. They lost 6-4 to Henderson.
Oh man!
Some kid named Luzinski got 3 points for Vegas, and they sent him back after the game.
Wow! Yeah, Luzinski, the puck goes Inski, Spec.
The puck goes Inski when your name's Luzinski.
Yeah. There was an old goalie from Hudson Bay, Larry Luzinski, Spec.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Ask Ben Gulletson about him sometime.
Larry Jerry Lusinski. I don't know. I'll look this kid up. Maybe that's where he's from. Maybe that's his old man.
Who knows?
Maybe he's Greg. It could be Greg's boy.
Oh yeah, the old former Philly and White Sox slugger. That guy was built like a fire hydrant, wasn't he?
Oh man, he could hit bombs like.
What was his nickname again?
The Bull.
The Bull, yeah.
He was a bull.
Yeah. Man.
Hey, those are the days. It's Friday,
I
man. It's Friday in San Jose. What's Guy supposed to do on a Friday night in San Jose?
Well, you got to get to PF Chang's, don't you? That was our old. I'm not kidding. Duke's laughing. But back in the day, Spec, didn't we always, as media, travel to PF? We'd go, where are we having dinner tonight? PF Chang's. PF Chang's.
Yeah, I'm a guy that there's a couple spots there. There's a really good old barbecue joint there called Henry's High Life that I like. And there's an original Joe's that's like, I know we have that chain now, but this is the original Joe's. It's like from the 50s. And it's Italian and it's really, really nice. Maybe
that barbecue joint, we were there too. And we were there with Brownlee and he had about 16 of them. They look like brontosaurus ribs.
Yeah.
He had about 10 of them.
That's the only problem is they give you so much food. Like if you don't get, if you're not fat when you show up in America, they'll take care of that for you.
Good stuff, Spec. We'll see you when you get back into town.
All right, Kev.
That's great. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet on the mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This truck's for you. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Mr. Reuter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Reuter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
Once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Reuter.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperatures dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Loca Quality Market. Your next dinner is ready with Loca Quality Market's gourmet meals. Choose from over 200 chef-prepared meals. Shop local at loca.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. What are we at here? 8:23 in Edmonton, and time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, the plumber to call when the toilet mysteriously breaks after your jalapeno pepper popper fuel game night with the fellas. That's mrrooter.ca. As we welcome in on a Friday, just because of how travel worked this week, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank, from the Windy City.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How was the game last night? The Hawks game.
They have tons of speed and skill, but they're too easy to play against. That's the easy way to explain it.
So not big enough, or just not tough enough?
No bite. Like it's like taking candy from a baby.
And if they think that they're going to trade away some of this grit at the deadline, and the guys like, maybe Murphy that's been rumored out there, I mean, they're going to have to find this before they take that next step. Would you agree with that, or where are we at?
Yeah, I would. I think they've got some of their work cut out for them in that standpoint. I think they've got some guys in their pipeline that have a little bit of it, but it needs to be on display at the NHL level because that's what's holding them back in the here and now.
So let's start with Connor Murphy. What'd you see from him last night? Because that's one of the guys that his name's out there.
Yeah, his name is certainly out there. I don't see him being a fit for the Oilers. I don't think he moves the puck efficiently enough in order to be an option. I think that's their biggest need is get the puck into the hands of their forwards as cleanly and quickly as possible. And I think he's got a lot of admirable traits, the experience that he brings, some of that edge and toughness. He's relatively consistent in terms of what you get from him. He's pretty predictable, but at the same time doesn't have a very high ceiling.
Jason Dickinson, where's he at? What's he got left in the tank? He's still a young guy. He's 30. Can he be a 3C for a lot of teams that would be interested in a 3C?
I think on a contending team, he's a 4C. But I think depending on the situation, if there's a real need or a hole in their lineup, that he could be elevated to that spot. He's another guy, you know exactly what you're getting. He, I think, has maybe lost a little bit of a step, which is part of the reason why the trade market isn't as high as it could be for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's still plenty of teams interested. It's just at what price and what role is he filling?
What did you see from Connor Bedard last night?
Electric. He was shot out of a cannon. And if you thought that not making Team Canada might be a little spur for him, I think, or burr in his boots, I would say that yes, I think there's part of that. And he's ultra motivated every night. But I think seeing him trying to do it all last night was a little bit different.
How much more supporting cast do guys like Bedard, like there's still some guys there, like, they've got some young players and some guys coming from Russia too here. How close do you think the Hawks are here, Frank?
I think they're a lot closer than people think because really everyone lives in a tangible world. You want to hold it and grip it and feel it. And the Hawks have it, but they're just not in their NHL lineup. They're playing elsewhere. And that's kind of why this remainder of their season ends up actually being exciting. Anton Frundel's season is going to end in Sweden. He's going to probably get the last 6 weeks of the NHL season. You mentioned Russia, Roman Kantsarov, league leader. He's like, if he can get an out and an agreement with the Hawks to get out of his deal, which ends in May, he could be playing NHL games. So it is on the way. I know it's been a slower process than many would have envisioned this season, particularly thinking that Bedard and Nazar would get to that next level. And Bedard did, but that 6-week injury really took a lot of wind out of their sails.
Yeah. Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. In case our listeners don't know, Frank in Chicago doing some work on the broadcast team of the Chicago Blackhawks for the weekend. One more game here, Frank, on, I guess, tomorrow night?
I've got Saturday and Sunday and be home Sunday night.
Okay. So Nashville, here's a team, Frank, that was the bottom or near the bottom of the Western Conference standings, now have a very legitimate shot of making the playoffs. Where do you think the Predators are in a buyer-seller mode at this point with the trade deadline a week away?
They're unquestionably sellers. Eric Holla, Mike McCarron, Steven Stamkos. Stamkos has 26 goals in his last 36 games, something like that. I think my numbers might be slightly off one way or the other, but he's been on a tear. I'm not convinced that Stamkos wants to move. I don't think Ryan O'Reilly wants to move either. And they're very comfortable with their situation and the place that they picked. I think both of them have realized some of the eventualities that might be happening around them. But whether the Preds make or miss this year, it's not going to be because they're not loading up. It might just be because they didn't sell off enough. But I'd expect a few trades from Barry Trotz as he winds down his tenure in Nashville.
So you don't think that they could, even if they get into wild card number 1 here, which is a decent, there's nothing wrong with wild card 1. Nobody wants to be in wild card 2 here. You don't think they could get to wild card 1 with what they have right now? Why?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it might be with Stamkos and O'Reilly there because they decided they don't want to move, but the Preds would like to do something.
Mm-hmm.
They have to begin turning this over to the next iteration.
Who's their top target? Who's the number? Is it O'Reilly, the number 1 guy?
I think in terms of trade value, it's O'Reilly. Sure. But I think a lot of teams are now looking at the goals that Stamkos is piling up, wondering if he might be a more impactful player.
I just don't know if you want to take that on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the challenge, right? Is O'Reilly, for a lot of reasons, the position he plays, etc., and the contract, it's more reasonable than Stamkos.
Do you think we're going to see way less movement here, Frank, because of how it works this year being cap compliant for the playoffs?
I don't. I think teams are still going to find a way to make things happen. There's still half salary retention, which exists. And because of the playoffs moving forward, I just think teams need to make hard decisions now. And once the decision, like I'll give you an example. Tyler Seguin with the Dallas Stars, they've been wrestling how to manage this $9.85 million. There is a chance that Tyler Seguin is ready to play. But if they make these trades and use his money, he's out. He's done. He can't come back. And then you're wrestling with the NHLPA saying, well, you're precluding my players' right to play once healthy. But that's essentially what teams are now having to work through is there any chance this player can come back depending on how deep we play? And I think for Seguin there is, and they're trying to figure out what to do. I would counsel or say, cross that bridge when you come to it. Better off spending the money and getting significant players rather than guessing whether or not a player can make it back.
For some reason, I just feel that there's going to be a little less movement than people think, Frank, just because of the cap compliancy for the playoffs. Maybe I'm out to lunch on this. I don't know.
No, I don't think you're out to lunch. I think it's a fair and valid question. I think what really, my view of the overall trade market itself is that it is not teaming with true impact players.
Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV with us on Sports 1440. We touched on it a little bit yesterday, Frank, just with the trade target board that you've got up. I know nothing's really probably changed here in the last 24 hours, but maybe can we go a little more in depth in some of the targets that you would see here in the next week or so?
For sure. I mentioned last night on Amazon 2 players in particular connected to the Edmonton Oilers. I believe they've spent a lot of time looking at and focusing on Justin Falk in St. Louis and Oliver Ekman-Larsson in Toronto. They really need someone to play on the right side and play particularly, if possible, with Darnell Nurse. And we've talked about the idea of a puck mover and a true impact defenseman, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday in our conversation. But as the Oilers have worked through their list, I believe those are two of the guys on the very short list that they're targeting.
Mm-hmm. What would you rank Falk a little higher than Oliver Ekman-Larsson right now, or same? What would you say there?
I would rank Falk a little bit higher in terms of overall impact, and I think in acquisition probability. Like St. Louis, we just talked about they got to do something. They need to change things up, and they've needed to change up that defense core for a really long time. So I view his availability, his cap hit, the term on his deal. I mean, not all of it is ideal, but I think there's a way to get creative and make this work.
What about both teams again? So the Blues with Falk, Leafs with OEL, about salary retention. How much would that come into play? Would they entertain that? How much would it be, you think?
The Blues more so than the Leafs, because with the term remaining on Ekman-Larsson's deal, I don't know that the Leafs want to be piling on dead money to their cap. I feel like it's less of an issue for the Blues, who, in my view, really kind of need to embark on a retool here. And as they're moving out players, that's going to give them additional flexibility. And if they could juice a return for Falk, that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. The Leafs, I mean, they got pounded twice, 2 nights in a row in Florida. I mean, they're not even resembling anything close to a playoff team right now. How many moves do you think they make here?
2 to 3. I think when it comes to Scott Lawton and Bobby McMahon, and maybe throw in an OEL or throw in someone else that could be a piece that moves with term. I mean, you've got your obvious ones, and then you've got your less obvious ones. And I think the Leafs are ready to field calls on all their players. I don't mean like every single guy, but for the most part, all the pieces that aren't their superstars. And they want to find out what the market price is. It's a coin flip for me who's had a more embarrassing 2 games out of the chute to try and make a statement about the playoffs, the Kings or the Leafs. I don't know which one's worse.
Probably tied.
Well, I think it's worse probably for the Kings because they had more authentic reasons to believe than the Leafs did. I've never viewed the Leafs since October as a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to the end of October, I said, this is a really average team that isn't going to get much better. At least with the Kings, mathematically, they've been way closer. And they just added Panarin.
Yeah, well, again, and we just had Speck on, and he was talking about that 4-minute power play they had last night, and then he felt that they were just forcing every puck to Panarin, and it just didn't work.
You know what else they're forcing is keeping their coach, which doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. That's a move that should have been made. It should have been made after last year's playoff round with the Oilers. I'm sorry. Done, out, you cost your team the series.
Yeah, it's too bad. I've known Jimmy Hiller a long, long time. And I was just saying we've had 2 guests on this morning, same answers. Like, I just don't feel like he's going to be around much longer in LA. One last one for you, Frank. Is there a sneaky team leading up to the deadline? Actually, I got 2 for you. A sneaky team that you think might come out of nowhere and make a bigger splash than others?
Sneaky.
It's do you think Buffalo does something, because they haven't been in this position for an awful long time? Do they do something?
Buffalo's playing with fire with this Alex Tuch situation. So I feel like they're taking on a relatively big enough risk, potentially playing out the string here without him signed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that in an odd way is their deadline acquisition if they decide to keep him. I've mentioned Utah and their willingness to make a splash. And by the way, like, waking up today, given what we just said about the Kings, how I feel about who the Preds are, really outside of the Sharks, who have lost 4 in a row on their own, have the 8 teams in the West crystallized a week before the deadline. Like, we're really not that far away from having that conversation. So in the end, the sneaky answer for me, you mentioned your question, Utah would be in the East, and for me, the team in the West, and Utah in the West, and the team in the East for me would be Boston.
Okay. And then one last one in the sense of with a week left here before the trade deadline, Frank, do you think we might see a little more action in the days prior as opposed to coming down right till Friday?
It's always hard to say. I think this is one of the world's bigger games of multi-million poker. There's a lot happening between teams playing themselves out of it, between teams trying to get the best price and hold off to make the other team sweat. A lot of let me give you the best example. So everyone believes Blake Coleman will be moving, and that there's a huge chunk of playoff teams that view Blake Coleman as one of those missing piece type players. Well, all these teams are calling, but as of now, I don't think the Flames have very many, if any, hard offers. How do you make a trade? Like, you want to make a trade, you want to get it done, but everyone's calling you, telling you that they like the guy, and then they don't do anything. So how do I then predict when that's going to happen? I mean, typically the best way for me to say it is that NHL general managers need deadlines in order to make things happen.
I sort of lied because this comes from a texter, Original 6. Ask Frank what the Oilers would need to trade and give up for Falk. And we discussed this yesterday, Frank, because the assets and the currency that the Oilers have, and that Falk is similar, not the same, but it's close to what Rasmus Andersson and his return that the Flames got. So what would the Oilers have to give up, do you think?
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, so you're now factoring in a high-end pick for sure. And then you're trying to figure out in terms of what you have in your prospect arsenal that gets someone excited. That's essentially what we're probably looking at.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a first and a second and White Cloud for Anderson. The Oilers, they don't have enough.
Different players, like slightly younger, and I think
Another year left.
More
in the deal.
impactful, but yeah.
Frank, have a great weekend. Have fun in the Windy City. Head down to Michigan Avenue. Have a nice meal tonight. The whole bit, big guy.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
Yeah, Frank Saravalli, Victory Plus TV, and our headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter, the number one overall pick in your fantasy plumbing pool. That's MrRooter.ca. I'll tell you what, we've had a lot of, even Team Dean just texted on about Falk Duke, and we've had a lot of texters. Every time Justin Falk's name gets brought up, Oiler fans are not interested in the guy. And we haven't had too many people go, man, that would be a good, if we could get Justin Falk. We haven't had texters that have relayed that on our line anyway.
No, and it's almost kind of, and Frank, obviously you brought up Connor Murphy, right, from the Chicago side of things, and that's a name that we talked about yesterday or Wednesday with, I think it was with Schlemmer, about a potential ad. And I get where Frank's coming from, saying that maybe Falk seems like the better choice, and clearly his information tells him that's where the Oilers are focusing their attention because he can move the puck, right? And the Oilers' focus is getting the puck into the hands of all their skill forwards they have. But when you talk about from a pure defender standpoint, Falk is okay, but I focus on a guy like Murphy because he brings more to the table on that front, which when you watch the Oilers, that more often than not seems to be where they fall down at times, right? Especially on that second pairing. If it's a matter of splitting up Jake Wallman and Darnell Nurse, and however you decide to deploy your guys from that point forward, like Murphy just seems like more of a stabilizing factor than Falk could be. Just like, hey, Falk's still a great skater. He's always looking up ice and he's fine defensively. But I like in that little bit of edge, grit, sandpaper that Murphy brings, like that just intrigues me a little bit more. And I also think the acquisition cost would come in quite a bit lower, and you're not tied to it. Hey, if you like what he brings, you bring him back on a shorter term deal or something moving forward. We know the Oilers love to make some questionable decisions. Yeah, give him a no move mix in on it as well. But like that's just me personally. But obviously Frank is tied in, and that seems to be where the Oilers are focused. And I like Falk, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if that really, really fills what the Oilers need here.
Yeah. So the Oilers, as far as draft picks go, they don't have a first rounder in 2026. That went to San Jose in the Jake Wallman trade. They have a second rounder. They have a third rounder. They don't have a fourth rounder in 2026. That was part of the Trent Frederick trade. they don't have a 5th rounder in 2026. That pick was swapped with the Nashville Predators, where the Oilers wanted to pick a young guy named Asher Barnett in round 5 this year instead of, so they swapped 5th round picks for 2025 and 2026 so they could pick up Asher Barnett, and he's playing college hockey in the States this year. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. Maybe we'll talk about the Briar, Duke. The Briar underway in St. John's, Newfoundland. Maybe because of the Olympics, it doesn't have the cachet because we just finished with the Olympics, but it's a big week for Brad Gushu right in his hometown. So maybe we'll discuss that. And I'm sure I don't even know what the TV schedule is for today on the Briar. We'll have to have a little sniff. When you got that?
7:30 tonight is the draw.
Oh, beautiful.
Just one draw tonight.
Just the
4
one draw.
games. Yeah.
7:30. So 7:30
Mountain Time, I believe.
What? Can't be.
It's usually Friday, Kev. It's like an afternoon game. Or wait, 7:30 Mountain Time. That'd be late in Newfoundland.
That would be like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in Newfoundland.
Maybe that's the Newfoundland time then.
So 4 o'clock our time?
Maybe that's right.
Yeah. Like they used to
usually
say,
these websites they automatically correct and give it to me in my local time zone, but maybe Curling Canada is letting me down here.
Maybe the guys want to rip her up. Could you imagine all the Newfies on a Friday night?
Yeah.
All right, we got 11 o'clock
11 o'clock draw. Get in there.
Kick things off. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams. Whether it's retirement or your first home, the deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
irrelevant Saskatchewan history. Kevin's got it. But first, catch the exclusive interviews and stories nobody else has. The Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
Right, welcome back to the big program. 8:48 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you. Sports 1440 AM radio, excuse me. So Duke the Briar in St. John's, Newfoundland. Do you feel it's the same with me a little bit? Take Gushu out of this field. Ooh, it would be, there's really nothing, no headliner, you know what I mean? I shouldn't say that.
No, listen, there's plenty of good names. Of course, your boy Dunsey back in the mix trying
I'm
to.
going to say Dunsey wins it.
Well, I've got a question for it in or out, but I mean, hey, our old buddy Kevin Cooey, back there representing Alberta. There's some familiar names.
I totally
out of
misspoke.
Saskatchewan.
I shouldn't have said no headliner.
And listen, and I don't think we necessarily took it to mean that way, but you are right in saying that coming off of the Olympics. I mean, like, hey, Brad Jacobs just won an Olympic gold medal. He's there wearing the maple leaf for Canada. And now is that a little bit of an emotional letdown for that team? Are we going to necessarily see their best here in this tournament? Hard to say. They're one of the best teams in the world, so they'll certainly be competitive, I would expect. But I think it does largely and entirely, circle around Brad Gushu here in his final Briar and getting to play it in his home province and his home city.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant like the headliner of the event, like the event being a headliner.
No, for sure.
Just, so, I mean, we're going to see some excellent curling again. And you mentioned the names, Duke. I mean, between Dunstone and, McEwen's curling exceptionally well. And our buddy Cooey, both Cooeys are there. Just looking at, and then Menard's, he's always going to be in the mix. And as we said, McEwen's always a great story, and he seems to raise his level of game. I guess it's just because of the coming off the crescendo.
100%.
Yeah, being at the
So
Olympics.
Kevin, riddle me this, and I don't know if it's just purely a logistics side of it, or I thought it was actually a rule before I realized that Jacob's going to be here. Why did Rachel Homan not curl in the Scotties, and Jacobs here is curling a week later?
Maybe because of the Scotties were before.
But that's what I mean. Like it's not like it was. It would have had to, if the finals of the Scotties was this day, then they're leaving that afternoon to head to Italy. It was several weeks before.
Because how they, and I think, Duke, you're probably, your focus is so much on the Olympics that you don't want to, everything is towards that. You don't want to go into a Scotties and maybe that's the focus of your whole 4-year cycle is all on the Olympics.
Of course.
So that's what that's all it would be for me. For this one, for Jacobs, I mean, these guys are you going to curl looser than this?
I don't know how you could.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you just won the Olympic gold medal. You could go out and go, whatever happens. But let's just say they didn't win the Olympic gold medal. I think they'd have a different focus for this.
Well, but then it's also like, if whether it be a disappointing tournament or they lose in the gold medal match, however it could have otherwise shaken out. Yeah, this is a different conversation, but I'm totally in lockstep with you that you come in here with, well, what do we care? We just won the Olympic gold, and for 3 of the 4 guys is their second Olympic gold medal in the sport, too. So first as a team, but second individually, going back to 2010 for Benny and Kennedy, and then of course with Jacobs in 14. So you have to think they're in Newfoundland these next 10 days to have a good time and of course be competitive and try and play their best game. But man, it might just come in the form of rolling the rocks out there, as it were.
Hot Salsa says, I think your answer for Rachel Homan was a load of shiitake mushrooms. Well, I mean, why? Like, he's saying that she should have been more prepared, having 12 really good, solid matches, getting into the playoffs. Well, maybe think about this there, Hot Salsa. Again, the amount of mental preparation and everything that goes into the Olympics is something that no one knew nor I. The only one that's on this program that could talk about it is Lorianne Munzer. Now, if their preparation and how they thought about going into the Olympic Games didn't include the Scotties, well, that was their game plan for not just this year, for 4 years. So how can you say it was a load of crap? I mean, you don't think that they thought this through? Hot Salsa says, now he comes back. Maybe my text came off a little bit strong, Kevin. We've had some contentious texts over the last 5 days, Hot Salsa. No, I appreciate it, man. I get where you're coming from. But just think about it. The amount of mental stress preparation. The other thing, too, is that it's not like they arrived in Italy and stepped on the ice. They were in Europe before Hot Salsa. That was their game plan all along. They were at, if they want to call it, curling camps, but their preparation was in Italy prior to the games. It wasn't, okay, let's figure it out and, participate in the Scotties. So I think that's how they looked at it. And really, after that slow start, they came on. It would have been nice to get to the gold medal game, but they picked up a bronze and full marks to Rachel Homan. I believe Rachel Homan was going to be on the Global Morning Show this morning, Duke. I heard about that. So
I listen, and obviously the return from Italy, we know that there were plenty of travels issues for several people on across the world board getting back to their respective home nations. But yeah, I was hoping to touch base with Rachel or another member of the team and hopefully connect with them next week. And then, maybe, I mean, I know you're very connected with Mark Kennedy and stuff to maybe see if they've got a gap in their schedule coming up next week, the Briar, or we touch base following the conclusion in Newfoundland. Either way, but listen, all the Olympians are kind of returning home for the most part. This will be the time to hopefully touch base with some of our best representees and see if we can get a conversation with them.
It's funny. So like Hot Salsa comes in. Maybe my text came off a little bit strong, Kevin. Buddy, stand by it. Jordan comes in and says, the text came in off a bit hot. Maybe try medium salsa next time.
Yeah. Is that way you're buying? Well, you probably make your own salsa at home, I assume, right, Kev?
Yes, of course, Duke.
So what are you making it pretty spicy, or do you keep it mild?
Mild. Yeah.
Mild or medium? Because you can buy them either way.
I would say more towards the medium.
Okay.
But we haven't made it for a while. We just did, we can make it out of the jarred tomatoes that we have.
Right.
So
yeah. I love hot salsa. Spicier the better.
BC Oilers finally on my side. He says, your Rachel Homan take is the one thing you got right this week.
Come on, Kev. I thought this was supposed to be not like, instead of Feel Good Friday, this was supposed to be non-contentious Friday.
Yes.
Everybody's texting when you're on with Frank. Hey, I wonder what Frank and Kevin are going to argue about today.
We had, how many texts said that? When are you guys going to start ramping it up here? What's going on? Like, holy moly.
No, that's the new theme for today. Non-contentious Friday.
Duke, you said Feel Good Friday. Yeah. And it's a lot. That's a mouthful though. Non-contentious. But
Friday. And I was joking about this with some people at the Critters game last night. Yeah. We've had a very dramatic, contentious week on several different fronts. What better way to wrap it up than having a local politician on the show on Friday? And everybody loves RC, you and I included, but it is just kind of funny the way that worked out.
Yeah. At least it's, it's a feel-good story.
Yes,
you want to call
absolutely.
it that. So,
absolutely.
Do you imagine if we had someone on talking about the LRT and infills? Come on down. Might as well wrap the week up properly here. When we come back, that's where we're going to go with Reed Clark. It's a great initiative that's been put forth the City Council here in Edmonton regarding sports in our city. And to be honest with you, Reed Clark's been, he's a guy that's been behind so many sports initiatives in our city. So I think we're on the right direction with what we're going to talk about here right after the break. Before that, time now for Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand, high quality promotional products for your businesses, sports teams, corporate events. Get noticed at Fusion Promomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Here is the Duke.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers bounced back in a big way last night, winning 8-1 over the Kings from Los Angeles. Leon Draisaitl with 4 points, including a goal that gives him 30 on the season. Connor McDavid, a goal and assist to mark his 100th points on the year. That is his 9th time hitting the plateau in his NHL career. 11 other games around the league, including the Bruins doubling up on the Blue Jackets 4-2. Matthew Schaefer, pair of goals, and the Islanders 4-3 overtime win over Montreal. Dylan Holloway with a hat trick. Blues top the Kraken 5-1. Wild beat the Avalanche 5-2. And the Flames, they get a win in San Jose 4-1. In the PWHL, without Marie-Philou Poulin, not an issue for the Montreal Victoire. They beat New York 4-1. And in the AJ, Camrose Kodiaks falling at home to Drumheller 5-4. In the association, 10 games on the slate total, including Charlotte beating Indiana 133-109, Atlanta topping Washington 126-96, and the Phoenix Suns, they get past the Lakers 113-110. Local action from the Saville Center. Volleyball, Canada West quarterfinal playoffs. The Pandas beat Winnipeg 3-1 to open up a 1-0 series lead. And the Bears, they sweep Winnipeg 3-0 also. Now the 1-0 series lead. They'll do it again from the Saville Center later on today. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Edmonton City Councilor Reed Clark and Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves on VSiN Live. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 Update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Okay, how about you give us your star winger for a bag of pucks? What if I throw in some Will Hawk beef jerky?
Yourself a trade. With Will Hawk Beef Jerky on their side, the Alberta teams definitely have an unfair advantage this trade deadline. Pick up some today and use it for trade leverage in your fantasy league.
No way, man. It's way too good.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win trades with salad.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Crave presents a new must-see original crime drama.
You think you can just walk away with drug money and nobody's going to come find you?
The Borderline.
You killed my friend.
Set along the Thousand Islands border, a cop blurs the line to protect his past.
I'm going to keep you out of jail.
Starring Stephen Amell, Tamara Podemski, Hamza Haq, and Minnie Driver.
Did you catch the bad guys?
I always catch the bad guys.
The Borderline. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:02 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on a Friday morning. Feel Good Friday, Playlist Friday. That's from the request line. Get it in to 833-401-1440. 1440. And the Duke will get her on at the Paralympics. Well, it's not starting quite yet in Italy. Devin Haru, who just worked like a madman during the Olympics, he's staying over there. He's reporting about Canada's Paralympic hockey team wrapped up the pre-tournament preps, shut out Italy 4-0 early today. The games begin for the Paralympics Saturday, March the 7th for the Paralympic hockey team. They take on Slovakia on Saturday, March the 7th. Time to welcome in an old friend, an old pal. Now, well, he's such a big wig. He doesn't have time for us rubes here at Sports 1440 like he used to. But let's welcome in City Councilor now, Reed Clark, back to the show. Good morning, Reed. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning, big guy.
Really morning, KKK. You know I always make time for you.
Look at you in your fancy office there.
Yeah, reaching out to you. And hey, I remember you blowing me off when I was door knocking. We came to the door and you were gone. You couldn't be bothered.
I didn't. Well, actually, what happened, Laura was there, and then she said, hey, some guy says he knows you and whatever. I don't know. Are you going to vote? I said, he's not even in this ward. But, man, you got it. You're looking good, big guy. For the people that are watching us on YouTube and our other streaming services, I see you got your little map in the background there and everything.
Yeah. Got the map here. Obviously, got the Jordan Wings iconic poster. I'm just in my ward office off Stony Plain Road at 150th Street this morning.
So, okay, first off,
yeah.
Okay, what ward are you in? I apologize. And listen, I can't like it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like the numbers I knew what the wards were. The names are hard for me to figure out where they are and just to kind of put them together. But where exactly is your ward, Reed?
Yeah, so my ward's called Nakota Iska is the name, and it's basically the West End, or a good chunk of the West End, Kev. So it goes from Grote Road, if we're talking neighborhoods like Crestwood and Glenora, all the way to 231st Street to Parkland County, and then it kind of goes to the White Muds. So we go to Lewis State, Seacourt, Rosenthal, Big Lakes, Aldergrove, all in there, and Britannia, Kenora. So it's a good chunk of I call it the heart of the West End.
Yeah. Before we get to this sports legacy motion that you brought forth to City Council, how's it been for you? Like this is obviously something new for you, but you've been so involved with our city and so many great causes, but it's just a little different, I would imagine, for you.
Yeah, you could say that. It's a bit different. I mean, I wasn't involved in anything politically before I, sent the text message and said, hey, maybe I should run for this, a little bit over a year ago, and decided to do it. So it's been a change, but it's really cool. Like it's cool to have a seat at the table. It's cool to throw out motion. You can get some change done here, I think, pretty quick, Kev. And I think even if the scoreboard might not look that great right now, we got a lot of things coming in the background, and the sports legacy motion is one of them.
Yeah, because when you see all the stuff that you guys got to go through, and it's snow removal, it's infills. There's a lot of serious stuff here. A lot of serious stuff here, Reed.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? When you're sitting at the table, like there's a lot of big decisions that come across every week, and you got to be prepared for them, know what you're talking about, and make the best decision possible.
Okay, so Reed Clark with us, City Councilor for the City of Edmonton, and basically it was a motion that you put forth. How long ago was this, Reed? How long did it take to get ratified, or whatever you want to call it? And it's called the Sports Legacy Motion to strengthen our city for community events, for major events.
Yeah, you got it. So, coming from my background from business and sports, Kev, I'm used to things happening a little bit quicker. I put this forward in December, and it just got read in last Friday on, I think, the 20th at like 4:45. We kind of just snuck it in there. So I'm learning that kind of process and patience, but it's a really cool motion, and it kind of ties into my background and what I was doing with Sport Edmonton as well. So, I mean, I got a dream. I think this should be the best sports city in Canada. I think we're already pretty close, but this is kind of with that intent. And really the simplest way to kind of describe this motion is every time like a large sporting event happens in the city, international, national, over $3 million of economic impact, we've got to leave something behind for the community. So that could be from infrastructure, at a really high level, to programming, to scholarships, to equipment, to refs and coaches clinics. And sometimes we do this already, Kevin. Sometimes the organizers who are putting this on and corporate sponsors in the city do a good job of this, but sometimes they run out of time. When you're running to a different city and you got a couple of months to throw in a big event together, you got to sell tickets, you got to get volunteers, you got to get everything organized. You might have the intention to do something for the community, but you just run out of time, man. And this is going to actually help it, where we're going to have almost like kind of a menu item. We'll be working with our partners at Explore Edmonton, Sport Edmonton, Kid Sport, all the great guys who do stuff around the city, and they'll have some kind of options for you. So if you roll in from curling or soccer or football, whatever it is, we'll have some things to make it in place to always have something left behind. And I think the really cool thing is, like, nobody else really has this kind of embedded in their policy. Like, it might be tucked away in there that we're supposed to do this, but there's no other North American city that has it. So I think the big thing is it's actually going to attract more events to the city, because a lot of groups who are putting on these sporting events actually want to do this, and it's kind of in their sort of policy too.
Reed Clark with us on Sports 1440, and don't give me this. This is a load here, Reed. I mean, you are a politician. There's no question about it. If you're trying to pass a motion anywhere on a Friday at 4:45 p.m., you know that you're going to get that motion passed, big guy.
Hey, I got 12-0. I got unanimous support. I love that. Hey, I tried to get it through earlier, Kev. It's just, we had to get through some other things, and it came up on time, and I got it through. But I'll take the dubs however I get them.
Everyone's looking at their watch and council there in chambers. All right, yeah, okay, I'm in. Let's get the hell out of here. So
yeah, maybe, but hey, this is one that I know my colleagues really supported, and we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, like when you say about leaving that legacy, I'm trying to think like over the years. So would Commonwealth Stadium be is that the biggest one that everyone sees that we still have today, that the legacy still continues what was done, 50 years ago here?
Yeah, I think so, right? You think of that. I mean, I guess you can probably go back. University Games Butterdome is probably in that thing too. And that's at the high end. If we can get that going from this motion and policy change, that's great. But if we can get smaller things where there's free programming that gets done all the time. Like even for me bringing this up, I've had talks about the Canadian Women's Open that's coming to the Mayfair this year, and they're like, oh, okay, we like this, we see where it's going, and even if it's not ratified in place by when we roll in the summer, we want to do a program at Victoria Golf Course that teaches kids how to golf at the driving range and kind of continue that legacy. So it's sort of just spurring that conversation, and people want to be about it and do it. So, I'm not too concerned on exactly how big these things get done. Obviously, the bigger the better. But man, just that we can always have something happen. So, we don't just get hotel rooms and restaurants are busy for a couple of days. There's something you can point to, like you're talking Commonwealth Stadium, that's saying, hey, this came, we support it because we love our sports. We always show up in the city. And then here's what's kind of left behind for this.
Reed Clark with us on Sports 1440. So, the questions out there about taxpayer money. How do you balance that? Because, people's taxes keep going up. Our taxes are going through the roof. And everything's like that. And so when people are going, okay, well, who's paying for this? How does this work?
Yeah, that's the question. Where's the money, Reed? Where's the money come from this? What are you going to raise my taxes again? The answer is no on that, quite simply. So how this works, Kev, is you put this motion forward. I got to get a report back from our city administration with some options on funding, and then it comes back, and then we put it into the events policy that's already in place. But I'm pretty confident that there's money, and I know from my experience, and you too, from these events right holders, there's funding on that. There's funding for corporate sponsors, and if the city can toss in some in-kind things, I think that's where we land on this, right? So this is not going to be a tax hit. This is not going to come from that. This is money that's really already there, and I think if we actually have this in place, you'll be able to get, especially on the corporate side, you'll be able to get a lot more support on that because they'll see something tangible that comes with it. And, as I kind of learned from my time with the Stingers, if you have a really good community kind of program, there's lots of companies who are lined up to support that because they get it, right? They can associate with that, giving back to kids and youth and sports, and everyone understands the importance of that these days. So yeah, this is not going to be a tax thing. We'll be able to do this with, I think, funding that exists and get some new funding to support it.
Right. Reed Clark with us, city councilor on Sports 1440. So the other thing too that I sort of had, because just with your past answer there with no taxes obviously involved, how can you get maybe the corporate involvement that can maybe even take this to another level as well?
Yeah, I don't think that'll be too tough. I mean, if you think about some of these organizers who are coming in, whether it's, it's a Canada Soccer or it's a Hockey Canada, or it's maybe somebody like the NBA or the WNBA who wants to do some games, they've got those connections pretty good dialed in. So they know who they're working with. And then, Edmonton's got a great corporate community that loves to support sports and loves to support these kind of big events. So if we tee it up for them, right, Kev, there's actually here's what's already in place and working with, good community partners. Right. And you just need to support this, and you can have some kind of branding that goes associated with that. I don't think it'd be tough. And even for me, starting to have these conversations, like I mentioned, the Canadian Women's Open, it's already happening with this not even going through yet, right? Because people see the value of it. So I think making those connections, it will not be that hard at all. And that's where I think some of the dollars that we don't normally go to, we usually just go, hey, it's a city, here's a province, here's the feds, and hey, that's going to be a play too. Like I was at the Ledge yesterday talking to the Minister of Sport and Tourism about this motion, and he totally supports it. So, there'll be advocacy that side, but man, I think the corporate side would love to step up and see dollars get used to help kids in sports and just more sports in general.
So now that this has been, tabled and passed and everything like that, so what are the next steps here? And I mean, you obviously want to dream big and you want to have great events. And so what are the first steps to kind of get the ball rolling here?
Yeah, the first step. So we got support to get this going, unanimous. That's great. We'll get a report back from Min, and they're going to show some things that they're already doing, which is cool. Because I want to give them their shout outs. They're going to give some kind of options on how this gets really embedded. So we have an events right policy right now where this is going to get built right into that policy, Kev. So that'll be good. Now, can that affect events that are maybe coming this summer or this year? I don't know. We might be a little bit too late for that. But as we move on from 2027 and on, this will actually be part of our bidding process when we're trying to get, hey, the next Grey Cup in Edmonton, which is long overdue in my opinion. Yeah. When we already have that built in place, I think that's going to enable us to actually attract more events, because this is not something new that an organization like the CFL, they don't want it. They obviously want to do something as community legacy, right? But they need some options. And if we already have that teed up, instead of just I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you guys want to do? And they're like, well, I don't know this market. I don't know the best thing that's going to have the maximum benefit for football in Edmonton. So that's kind of the next steps, is get it into the policy, and then we start using it as part of the bidding process, and we go from there, and hopefully attract a lot more events, and then do stuff that really has a meaningful, lasting impact. And we'll shoot for the moon. I mean, hey, maybe this is more facilities, maybe this is more domes, turf, courts. Who knows, man? But this is a great place to start.
Why you say that? Because the Double E are going to be playing that preseason game at Clark.
Yeah.
How's the turf there? I mean, that was a sort of a bit of a debacle to get that to where it is now. No.
Yeah, you know what? I won't steal their thunder, but I'll tell you the Double E is working on something for Clark right now. Okay. So that you can follow up with the fine folks in Mr. Morris there. But there's some cool stuff in the works there. But I love the Knot Hole gang like that. I mean, that preseason thing, I got to be there. My mind's working. I'm like, man, I got to start making some merch or something for that, or help these guys out, because
exactly.
That old logo is so cool.
That's on the shirt. You got to get that going, man.
You got to get that going. So that's about the other part of me is thinking on that end, and how do I work with those guys on it? But
and I mean, you mentioned the Grey Cup, but I mean, I think the earliest Grey Cup that's going to be in Edmonton, probably is it 2029, because we got Calgary and then Regina. You think they're going to go out east for 2028? So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was part of the process to get instead of Calgary. I'm still pretty choked that we lost that. I don't know how that happened. If that comes down to dollars, or maybe it ties into this kind of community legacy piece, and you can make a better argument to why choose Edmonton over them. I mean, I can't believe you're playing a Grey Cup in that stadium down there, to be honest with you. Like it's a high school football stadium in my opinion, but hey, they got to make their choices.
You also brought up Explore Edmonton. So how does this relationship with all the legacy and everything that you guys want to do kind of intertwine, and how do you work together here?
Yeah, well, one, they're the ones who kind of know the economic impact of these events. Like, I mean, they always bring up like the Volleyball Nationals is almost $40 million in economic impact over the few weekends it's here, which is cool because people don't know that like a youth tournament like that delivers that much benefit for the city. So you work with them, they'll be able to kind of give us the numbers on that. They're also great on being our ambassador and having those conversations and starting those pitches. So this will be, I've talked to them and they fully support this as well. So they'll be there kind of along with the city and baking this kind of into the plans. My old home at Sport Edmonton, they'll be involved on this as well, helping that out. And then going through those other organizations, whether it's Kid Sport, Sports Central, Free Play, all the community leagues. I've got their support as well on that. But Explore will be a big part of it because they're sort of our front-facing group that goes out and it starts these conversations and tracks these events.
Yeah. You still got some nets in the back of your trunk hanging around the city?
Always, man. Yeah, always. We're getting some new hoops up at Winterburn School in the next few weeks. And then, we'll start a big push. And, I'll be bugging you guys for that to get some help when we start launching some new nets this spring.
Hey, did I miss anything here, Reed, that you wanted to kind of get off your chest here or top of mind or anything?
No. I mean, hey, I'm just excited about this. I think from my background, I was pretty pumped to get a sports motion is my first motion pass at City Council, and really just showing that, I rolled out kind of my priorities for the ward, and one of them is to make this the best sports city in Canada. And I think this is a step in the right direction and is a really cool point of difference for us that will only attract more things and get more kids playing sports, because I mean that's what it's all about.
Corey just texted in, how about hosting the Briar? It's been a while since we've had the Briar.
Yeah. Talking about that, it was actually there might be a play for some for that in Alberta too. So those talks are in the works. Yeah, so I'm dropping a few nuggets for you and your listeners here today, but there's some things happening in the background, Kev, all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Reed, good stuff as always. Thanks for checking in, and congrats on the ward, winning the ward and being a counselor. Who knows? Maybe you're going to be the next mayor.
We got to get through this. We got baby steps first, Kev. We got baby steps. I'm still learning the ropes here, but hey man, we're being proactive and going to get things done. That's for sure.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks as always, man.
Okay, appreciate it.
Reed Clark, Edmonton City Councilor. Yeah. How about we pass a motion on Friday at 4:45? Is that something you might be interested in, Duke? Yeah. And I know, this was a motion that was going to get passed.
Yeah, 100%, right? As Reed said, listen, everybody's in favor of it. It would be tough not to be when you see the outline of it and everything that went into it. But it is like I could just imagine us at 10:52 on a Friday show here, and I throw a question to you, and you're just like, yeah, no thanks. How about we revisit this on Monday instead? Similar type idea, but instead they're just pushing out of the door in the easiest fashion possible. And it makes a lot of sense, and it's a great to catch up with Reed, especially when you see the work he's doing now with the city, obviously on the council.
Yeah, exactly. So cool stuff. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. We've got Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves, VEASAN Live coming up at 9:40. It's Kevin Karius Show, Duke of Delburne. And again, Playlist Friday. Get them in. I think we've got a couple spots open. 833-401-1440 on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy.
All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
McValue meals are here. Get the McDs you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember. Invest for today and tomorrow. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your income tax, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. The deadline to qualify for 2025 tax deductions is March 2nd. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 926 in Edmonton. On a Feel Good Friday, Playlist Friday. We got a couple spots left open, Duke, or just is there one, I think?
One or two.
One or two?
Yeah, that one, that was the New Age Outlaws theme song.
Okay, I was going to say,
listen, I'm not a wrestling guy, I never have been, but that came in from one of our most dedicated texters at King of Fort Nassie, so I had to dig that one up for him to get us going on a Friday.
The rig wants a request because of your evening in Legal.
Okay.
And he spelt it wrong. A song by David Wilcox. Mind you, it's got some nice implications too, a little Latino if you want to.
So maybe just after we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Marty Stevens, Lord Commander of the Critters and sales manager here inside the Stingray building, he's very creative. He comes with all his ideas to make the Critters more fun and new shticks, new bits, elements to add to these games when we go around. And with all the talk that Laddie in particular seems to really love to harp on about my romantic entanglements, or in Laddie's idea, lack thereof at times, Marty wanted me to go and hand roses out to women in the stands, essentially, like during
hopefully single women
during player introductions.
Yes.
And so we were trying to scheme it out that maybe I would like try and throw them over the glass to people, things like that. And I proposed this to Marty. I said, well, almost all arenas around minor hockey and small rinks now have netting all the way around the crowd. And I was like, okay, well, maybe you could poke it through the glass or through the netting. But what if the glass is really tall? I'm a short guy to begin with. If you got regulation glass, there's no sniff. And you have a bad look, me trying to like javelin essentially roses through the netting out into the stands.
Thorns would get caught on the mesh and the netting.
There's tons of possibilities that could send this awry. So Marty, ever thinking as he was, he found 3 young whippersnappers. They couldn't have been more than 10, I think, maybe the oldest. And he brings them over and we kind of explain to them. We give them a handful of roses each. And we say, hey, when this guy, me, gets introduced, can you go, or he's going to go and point at people in the crowd. Can you just go and like hand out some roses to young ladies or any ladies in particular throughout the stands? And they did seem to not fully grasp it. And we were like, do you have any questions? They were just like nodding along. So it worked pretty well. They did hand most of the roses out before we kind of started introductions, but that was still fine. Marty introduces me, go along, point at some gals in the stands, blow some kisses. Give some waves and stuff. And listen, some good laughs, some smiles. So it was fun. It was funny. And Marty said, hey, we're not gonna be able to do this every game. Flowers are simply too expensive. You might need to get a good sponsor on board to keep that bit going. But it was a fun conclusion to the year, as you've already touched on so many times, Kev. Another great season for the Critters. And second most money raised last night, just under 18 grand total for Legal in this beautiful freshly renovated, essentially brand new type sporting facility they have in town.
And even like when everyone went and had a little snack after, sandwiches were great and all that. And, in the curling rink area, like the lounge for both, I guess it would be the rink and the curling rink. I mean, that place was packed. Like everyone from the game that wanted to stayed after that. And we had the game was on, obviously. So that was cool. That was just really, really cool in there. I don't know, Duke. I saw, and that was a whole dozen roses that he wasn't messing around.
Oh, there was more than a dozen.
Oh, was there?
I think there might have even been 2 dozen. Because each there were 3 kids, and I think each one had to have, well, I guess 8 if there was in fact 2 dozen. So plenty of ladies went home with a flower, or maybe they didn't go home with them. Maybe they chucked them in the bin on their way out the door. And then Marty even asked, and had to embarrass me even further in the post game dinner when he's doing his little spiel, thanking everyone and announcing the money raised. He even goes as far as say, hey, any of the ladies with a rose still here for supper? And
there was a couple.
There was a couple, but I believe they were the Legal legends' wives, I think. So
or mothers.
Or
grandmothers
potentially as well. Hey, I don't discriminate.
It was just funny. I actually, but I'll be honest, the Duke, he went up and down the side glass all the way from the player introductions on our blue line, then back behind it, and then all the way down, waving and blowing kisses. And everyone got a good check. I don't know if the Legal team knew what the hell was going on.
They probably thought I was some sort of schmuck.
Yeah, I don't think they knew what the hell was going on.
Some desperate loser, which I think was the point all along, wasn't it? That's all you and Marty and Laddie leaning into it, all your schemes. That's all you guys wanted.
That was just great. There was lots of fun. Hey, in the NHL tonight, Duke, I was checking out, and I think, well, this is a massive game, and it's your Ducks against the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
Jets won the other night in overtime. So they're still so far out in the Western Conference. If they have any hopes of making a charge here, they got to win. They got to go 8-1-1, like an 8-1.
Oh, yeah. You got to rattle off a stretch of games here that all of a sudden, ahead of Friday, makes you think about selling off any pieces you have. But, and even like we've talked about this, to the Jets kind of view this as say, hey, we have a good team. We believe in a lot of what we have here. This is just a down season. We don't need to totally reshape things if we're talking about a different, like the looks of Nashville or St. Louis, as Frank alluded to when he was on with us last hour. So the Jets are an interesting team. I guess the only name that I think a lot of people were maybe intrigued by was Jonathan Taves. He's on record saying
Logan Stanley too.
He's not too keen on. I mean, Stanley. Like, what are you getting there? Third pairing defenseman.
That's the one guy that people would be looking at.
Yeah, fair. But like with Taves, he says, he's like, yeah, I'm not interested in waving move. In his comeback effort, it seemed like Winnipeg was the only real destination for him. It's where he's from. And he doesn't seem to have any interest in moving elsewhere. It's not like he's chasing a Stanley Cup or individual accolades. He's already got a very full trophy case as it is.
I mean, Stanley at 1.25, that he's going to garner interest if they're
absolutely. And hey, is that a name that I could still see getting moved regardless of what happens in the next week for the Jets? Absolutely, I do.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, Taves has the no movement, and he says he doesn't want to go anywhere. So, again, if they can string a couple of wins together. Hey, also our buddy Blair, who gives me the gears on the text line, says that he will be buying me beer and pizza, Duke, if the Jets make the playoffs.
Wow.
So you should be hoping for that because you would be able to partake in it. You would be invited to this pizza party.
This little mini pizza party.
Yeah.
Speaking of the beer front, I'm not in much of a mood for one necessarily at any point here today. No, right. Yeah. 9:30 high. So I'm jonesing for it, Kevin, after these past couple nights of post-game pops.
Yeah.
MTR's beer over in the cubby.
There's still 8 there.
Yeah. Well, I thought we were saving it for Friday.
Oh, well, let's put them in the freezer here then. Grab 3 of them, Josh, and figure it out. Well, actually, it's a morning beer we'll have, right? So
Okay.
put the Prairie Fairy ones in.
Oh, there you go. A nice fruity,
yeah.
a nice fruity selection. Then you can almost disguise it as like juice for breakfast.
Yes, we'll have one in the 10 o'clock hour. Well, we got to get them cold though, Duke.
Well, the free. I better tell Josh you got to wrap them in a wet paper towel.
Well, there's what's in those freezers? They got those blue wraps. Wouldn't that work?
Okay.
Those
like you're talking like a gel type ice pack to wrap
that's
around
what they
it.
got in there. I thought that's what they have in the freezer there.
Yeah. I think if we get a little wet paper towel around them and get them in the freezer, we can have them chilled within
Well,
a
even
half
Kat
hour
had
here.
just said wrap them in wet paper towel, put them in the freezer.
Yeah, it helps. There's some sort of science involved there. I don't know if it's ever actually been proven to work, but it's kind of one of those old wives' tales that I believe in, and I do it if I'm trying to rapidly chill a can or bottle or something.
Yeah. We got Jonathan Von Tobel coming up. What do you think we want to talk to Jonathan about here? Well, March Madness is right around the corner.
Yeah,
here.
we're kind of hitting the home stretch of the college basketball season, and it's been a really interesting one this year. And I'm first to admit, I say it to Declan all the time, college basketball takes a back seat for me for a long stretch, kind of until right now.
Yeah,
usually post Super Bowl.
I heard you saying the other day, Duke, though, and I mean, the Olympics put a little
It kind
damper,
of pushed my.
But you watched a lot here in the last little bit.
Oh yeah, at this time of year, I'm usually trying to get into a couple games a week, and it's a really interesting landscape this season because it's quite open, and we're talking about like 5, maybe even up to 8 teams that really seem like they could win the national championship, and from different conferences. The Big Ten's back in a big way this year, maybe a little bit down season for SEC. So JVT, he's out of Vegas. He loves basketball, NBA, the college ranks. So some fun things to dip into heading into the weekend.
It's funny. I heard Declan on Low Tide. I can't remember if it was yesterday. I think it was the day before. But he was talking about Miami of Ohio being undefeated.
Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Out of the MAC.
Yeah. So and he figures, they got a couple more games left, so they could likely remain undefeated going into this tournament. But he rattled off all the other teams that were undefeated going in, and basically they were all number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the only obviously thing that's against them is they play in the MAC and they're not a Power 5 school, but obviously very good season and bodes well for them heading into March.
Do you have I got to ask you right away before we get to JVT. Okay, you said of all these teams, do you have one that you're going to pick for our March Madness pool?
Well, I'm going to be heavily invested watching the games for the next little bit. Conference tournament coming up here in the next couple weeks, and then into Selection Sunday. I think I like Arizona. I think I like Michigan.
What about Houston, Duke?
Houston is absolutely there as well.
Okay.
I would maybe say those are my top 3 teams, and it's pretty chalk. I mean, I'm not any revelations here when I say that, but those I think would maybe be my 3 teams. And it's crazy. I think Duke is absolutely still one of the teams you have to consider at this point of the year.
I'm just looking at the rankings, how much has moved, and teams going up and down, and the number 1 team that's trending upward is Florida.
Hey. Defending champs.
There you go, Duke. There you
go.
And
they got that Canadian that's like 7'9". Doesn't really play very much, but You got a 7'9" guy. Get him out there.
Hey, I just watched the Swamp Kings on
Oh, really?
Sports Untold. Is it Sports? No.
Untold.
Yeah.
Just Untold. It's a
Yeah.
Netflix series.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
got
yeah.
tons
So I
of
watched
swim.
that. It was the 4-parter.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, those guys were pretty wild there.
Yeah, I was actually really disappointed in that version of it because I thought it was pretty washed. Like it was more of like a Urban Meyer puff piece to an extent. And they left a lot of the big stuff out that was a little bit more of incriminating, I suppose, would be the way to put it.
Greater Man Jay, pop on the job, boys. That brings me back to working in the 90s. Sounds like a great place to work. Happy Friday. Well, hey, Gregor and those guys are pounding him in the afternoon, man. Hey, we can, like, on a Friday morning, why not? And this is thanks to our good friend MTR. Doesn't get any better than that. So, hey, you got him in the freezer? Did you wrap him in paper towel, Josh? Did you? You wrapped him in paper towel and cold paper towel?
I did not do paper towel, but there are ice trays in the freezer, so I set it on top of and below 2 ice packs as well. Also, just so everybody's aware, I need to get this on record. There's donuts out there, and I did not have one.
Well,
Is that only because the boxes aren't open yet, so you're not
Nope,
sure
the
they're
boxes-
up, you're not sure they're up for grabs?
The boxes are very open.
We
The
don't
first one
believe
is,
you.
anyways. And hey, I came in here. I didn't have anything in my hands. I did not.
First of all,
no
we don't
crumbs on my
believe you,
shirt. No nothing.
You got that powder all over your shirt, unless it's something else.
So clean.
When we come back, Jonathan Von Tobel from Wiesen Live on the Kevin Carey Show at Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
This jersey was worn by the legend himself, signed and everything. You can't just wear it. I'm framing it with expressions and images.
Your prized jersey deserves better than the closet. Think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Considering an EV, Subaru is the right choice. Discover their latest electric vehicle innovations, starting with the brand new Solterra, in stock and ready to test drive. Or the Trail Seeker, an EV at its core, a Subaru at heart, and built for adventure. Or the Uncharted This Sporty, all-new small compact SUV brings new levels of driving enjoyment to the all-electric space. Right now, Subaru is offering interest rates as low as 0.49%. Welcome to electric. Welcome to Subaru.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 941 in Edmonton, and that is from the request line on Playlist Friday, a little Molly Hatchet. Great song. Time to talk a little hoops, both college and NBA, with Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves, Wiesen Live, a regular contributor to the show. Good morning, JVT. You're with Kevin Carey. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440. As usual, really appreciate it.
Hey guys, how's it going? I am very excited. It should be a good weekend. Basketball is awesome. We're down the home stretch in both, even though we got a little bit less in the regular season in the NBA. But college basketball, 2 weekends left.
Oh, man, it's just sort of crept up on us. And, I think maybe because we were so focused on the Olympics, I'm not sure how you guys were down in the States there, JVT, but I guess for us, I think it just took a bit of a backseat with all the Olympic stuff. Hey, before we get to the college hoops, I wanted to maybe just get your thoughts on the Toronto Raptors and the 2 games that they had this week, where they were playing 2 of the very best teams in the league in OKC and the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe what you thought of those games, how they played out, because the Raptors had very good opportunity to win both of them, Jonathan.
Yeah, they have. And, oddly enough, and you guys would understand this too, I mean, they're oddly inconsistent at home, which is weird for most teams. Playing at home. I think the Raptors are a really solid team, but I think their ceiling is
We're just having a little trouble with you, Jonathan. Jonathan, are you? We're just having a little trouble with the connection here. Maybe we should try again here. Do you want to try it, Duke? Or can you hear us now, Jonathan?
I got you. You got me?
Yeah, we got you now. I think it's a little clearer now. So let's give it another whirl here. So maybe just come again with that answer about the Raptors, what you were talking about at home and everything.
Yeah, sure. Well, they've been a little inconsistent at home. They've been a lot better away from home. But I think ultimately when I watch them, the thing that has really stuck out is we know the upside on defense, especially when Scotty Barnes is out there. They've been a really good group. I think at times they've struggled on offense. And ultimately, I think really their ceiling, I think they could win a playoff series depending on who they would match up with in the Eastern Conference. It's not really a high bar to clear given the way the East looks. I think they're really hoping that Cleveland makes a push to get up to like that top 3, because I don't know if you want to see Cleveland early, depending on where the Raptors fall on the seed line. But I think this team does miss a little bit more on offense. I think they need another dynamic shot creator that's really going to help them out with that offense, which at times has been kind of stuck in neutral. But it's been an impressive season. I bet them to win the division when they were about like 1.5 games out. I thought they would have a chance, but Boston is not going to quit, and it sounds like they're going to fall by the wayside there. But it's no doubt been a really strong season for Toronto.
So where do you see them moving forward here, JVT? Because they've lost a couple in a row. Philadelphia's catching a little bit of a spark here. And so is Orlando. Do you think the Raptors can stay, above that 6 cut line?
Yeah, I think they can. They think the fly in the ointment, as I keep saying, for the Eastern Conference as a whole, and maybe for Toronto, maybe pushing them down a little bit farther, is Philadelphia. Joel Embiid has been kind of in and out of the lineup, but when he has played, they've been great. They're 21-12 when he plays. They have covered 14 of the last 20 games in which he has started as well. And he is averaging just over 30 points per game over his last 12 starts, along with some really efficient shooting numbers. And I think that version of Philly is going to be really, really good once we get to the postseason. And as you mentioned, they're kind of making this push up the standings right now. Really strong win yesterday against Miami. I think that's the thing you got to worry about. I'm not sold on Orlando. I mean, they had this stretch where they were playing really good basketball, defending at a very high level. But then you go to last night. They blow, 19-point lead to Houston because their offense stinks outside of Desmond Bane. I think you can stay ahead of Orlando. I think the real question is, does Philly push you down further in the standings with the way they're playing?
Jonathan Von Tobel from VSiN Live. Money Moves, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. Just one more with the NBA before we talk some college hoops with you, JVT, and that's in the Western Conference. And this run that the Spurs are on right now, do you think they can continue that? And despite, OKC's going to have some guys coming back here, SGA and everyone else, but do you think San Antonio can overtake the OKC Thunder in the Western Conference?
I think they can overtake them in the sense of stealing the 1 seed from them. Obviously, they have the tiebreakers considering how they fared head-to-head against Oklahoma City, and it's a very scant lead. I think it's about 2.5 now after yesterday. So I think that could totally happen. In the postseason is where I start to question whether or not this is going to happen. And it's not like they're a team that is really flawed inherently with the way that they're constructed. They've got an awesome on-ball defender in Stephon Castle. We know what Victor Wembanyama is. They've got a guard in De'Aaron Fox that can create for them and create for others. Like, they are talented enough to do it. But non-data, the theory here is generally you see these young teams take steps. Look at the Thunder. It was play in, then lose in the second round of the Mavericks, and then finally break through. We can go down the list of all of these teams that had to gradually make their way to a championship when we saw their young core forming. Can San Antonio actually do that? Can they break through in what would essentially be their first year on the big floor? I would doubt that that's the case to win 4 series like that. But I do think that there wouldn't be a surprise if we get to the Western Conference playoffs and the roads go through San Antonio, considering the way this team is playing down the stretch.
Do you have a team or two that's in the West, and you can maybe even say the East too, JVT, that's flying under the radar, that maybe doesn't get the headlines, maybe doesn't get some of the accolades and just to sort of, sitting in the weeds here as we move down the stretch?
Sure. I think there's probably, for in the Western Conference for sure, only because injuries have kind of derailed the season. But I've been very adamant that if Denver's going to be fully healthy, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Western Conference. And I don't think that's necessarily laying in the weeds, but the thought of them as a finals champion, I think, has been pushed aside just because of the mundane nature of Jokic since he's come back from the injury, the time that he missed, everything. But when this team's fully healthy, it's a very complete team, a very deep team. And Adelman has done a tremendous job as head coach. That I think that I wouldn't be shocked that if we get to the postseason and they are healthy and have their starting five, that they're going to be a team that could win the entire conference and the NBA Finals. And on the other side, I don't think this team is laying in the weeds necessarily because they made a really big trade at the deadline. But I think people should very much look at this Cleveland Cavaliers team as the best team in the Eastern Conference, like bar none. I think that they're incredible. The offense works perfectly with James Harden at the point guard and, of course, Donovan Mitchell at the two. They've got the size up front to deal with almost anybody. They've got lineup versatility now as well. I think they're absolutely a fantastic team and should be considered the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Good stuff. Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves, VSiN Live, our guest on Sports 1440. Well, let's move over to the college scene, and that's what you said right off the hop here, JVT. How excited are you here for these last couple of weeks as we head into March Madness here?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, the bubble watch is obviously fascinating. We've got a bunch of teams that are floating around that range, whether or not they're going to get in. Auburn has been a team that I've been focused on, whether or not they're going to get in. They've been awful against quad one opponents, but some have them in because of the brand. The race for the last one seed, UConn kind of answered the call against St. John's last time out and absolutely pasted the Red Storm. They might be the final one seed when all is said and done, but the Big East stinks, and they've got some weird losses on their resume too. So all of these things are going to be absolutely incredible to watch down the stretch. And while it seems that maybe, in talking to a lot of people, a lot would say maybe 4 or 5 teams can win this entire thing. There, I think, is going to be a lot of upward mobility in this tournament because everything in between from the top 5 on down, I think there's a lot of teams that are really close to one another, and it looks like it's going to be an awesome tournament.
Man, we were just talking before the break and before you came on, JVT, about the team that I brought up that seems to be trending the most upwards, and that's Florida, the defending champs here. What have you made of this last little several weeks surge that the Gators have gone on here?
Yeah, I've been guilty of that. I guess I'll proudly say I was a little early on it. I bet him at like 20-1 about a month ago to win the NCAA tournament. I really like what this team brings to the table up front. We know what that is. The question is, will Xavier Lee and Boogie Flan start to figure it out in that backcourt? And they are starting to. You're starting to see more consistent performances from Lee. You're starting to see some shooting even out there for Boogie Flan. I mean, that's been one of their biggest issues. They cannot shoot the ball. And we have not seen a team with a negative 3-point differential in terms of percentage since the late 80s win the NCAA tournament. So it has been a long time since a team has had a worse shooting percentage than its opponent from beyond the arc and to win the NCAA tournament. But Florida could do that, especially if they get hot. We know how good they are. We know how well coached they are with Todd Golden. I kind of buy in. Now, current prices and whatnot, you're probably getting a little too short. They're getting a little too sexy. But I do think that is a legitimate threat now, and they're starting to really take shape.
Yeah, I was just looking at Nebraska and where they're sitting at, around 12 or 13, depending on 11 where you're looking at. How's it work with Nebraska and them moving over conference here?
I mean, I think Nebraska is going to be legitimately good. I think they're a testament to patience when it comes to program building. I mean, Hoiberg's been out there for a while, and you've kind of waited for this thing to blow up, and finally they've gotten there. They're older in the right positions, which I think is really good. They're a great 3-point shooting team playing with pace. I think that's always going to be a problem. My question is always with teams like that, Miami, Ohio as well. They're on a lower level, but still undefeated and playing at this certain pace, which is, when you're taking as many threes as you are, when you're relying on that, is that going to be something that on a neutral site tournament where you're going from venue to venue and trying to win 6 straight, does that hold up when you're changing sight lines and things of that nature? Probably for some stretch. And you also do wonder the physicality of some of these teams up front, if they're going to be able to handle it. But look, this was about 2 weeks ago. They went and took on Michigan, and they got them in a shootout, and they almost took them down. Mm-hmm. Nebraska is a team that I don't think will flame out early, but I will be interested to see what the longevity is for them when they get to the tournament.
And how does it work with them, I guess with the probabilities moving from Midwest, and then that they thought that they probably were projected to the South region?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we obviously have a little bit of time, so maybe they're going to move around here, but that's going to be pretty big too. But I do think that, these teams, especially like Nebraska, it's not that they're the have-nots, But once you're in the NCAA tournament, I think really when you talk about regions and a preference of where you're going to play, I think you're more of these top seeds, right? The 1 seeds, the 2 seeds. Where would you rather end up? I mean, UConn's a really good example to go back to that. If you're not going to be if you're going to be the final 1 seed, in theory, that sounds great. But what if you're the top 2 seed and you get to go out east as opposed to having to go somewhere else? So that's always an interesting dynamic when you talk about where you're located. But I do think that's a little bit more of a worry for some of the teams at the top that have that leisure, if you will, to worry about those sort of things.
Jonathan Von Tobel with us on Sports 1440, one of our resident sports basketball experts here on Sports 1440's Declan Kruger that comes on a little later in the day, JVT, and he was talking about Miami of Ohio yesterday. I thought it was kind of an interesting story, being undefeated, and he mentioned all the number 1 seeds in the past that were undefeated, but this is a way different scenario. Could you maybe just speak to that if you can?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're probably in at this point. It would be incredible to see if they go out and they lose in the first game of the MAC tournament and ultimately the committee leaves them out. The problem is obviously their resume. Their best win right now is Akron, so maybe they get another win over the Zips. But what if they lose to Akron in the tournament, and then all of a sudden your best win is somebody that you have split a season series with, which is always going to be interesting to look at when you're evaluating them. But they're an incredible team, man. Like, their first shot offense has been awesome. They're not a great offensive rebounding team, but they are so efficient with running their sets, getting their shots up, playing with pace. And that's why I've always wondered, like, hey, does this have an expiration? But it hasn't. And to make it even better, they've been covering spreads. Like, they've been meeting market expectations as of late as well, which has been incredible to watch. So, look, they're going to be a threat, I think, to anybody. But when you get to the NCAA tournament and you're a little guy, for your audience, the things you want to find, you do want a three-point shooting team, and you do want a high volume of three-point shooting teams. But you don't want a quick pace. You want a slow pace team that does that, because that ratchets up the variance. It cuts the amount of possessions a big dog can go out there and pull away from you. So a team like, if you remember 2 years ago, Oakland upset Kentucky. They were a very slow paced team that took a ton of threes. That's a team that you're looking for to spring some upsets. And I do wonder if Miami's going to find themselves checking out early in the NCAA tournament, winning if they get there.
Yeah. Jonathan Von Tobel with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. You mentioned Florida and throwing some down to 20-1. Is there anything right now that you would look at before the next couple of weeks when we get to Selection Sunday here, JVT?
Yeah, so I added a long shot. I added Wisconsin. I think the Badgers, look, they've got some impressive pelts on the wall. We've seen them go on the road and score some really big wins. The offense is very, very balanced, very solid, used to the rigors of some really physical basketball playing in the Big Ten. Greg Gard has this team playing extremely well, and I think that that's a team that might be pretty dangerous with the way that they play. Get to the rim, shoot threes, can get to the free throw line. I think that sort of balance is really dangerous in an NCAA tournament setting. So I added Wisconsin. It's a long shot. It's like 125-1, but that was one of the long shots that I added recently.
That's pretty cool. In our neck of the woods, JVT, we get a lot of Spokane television, so we've been very familiar with Gonzaga over the years for a long time. Yeah. What do you make of the Zags going in here down the stretch and into the tournament?
I mean, I think they're the same threat. I don't know if they're on the level of some of these old Zags programs over even the last 4 or 5 years. We saw the flaw, obviously, a couple of weeks ago when they lost to Portland. They just exacted revenge on the Pilots a couple of days ago. But I think that I would not be surprised if we see another Sweet 16-esque type run here from Gonzaga. But when I stack them up with some of the best teams and the elite teams in the country right now, I do think there's a pretty firm ceiling that they were not going to be able to break through. And when we talked at the Open about 4, maybe 5 teams that can win the whole thing, I would not include Gonzaga among them. They are old and in all the right spots at some positions, but I do think that of the other iterations of Mark Few's squad, I think this is probably the last 5 years on the lower end of the spectrum when you're talking about talent and ability to win a tournament.
Right. As always, JVT, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the next couple of weeks here leading up to Selection Sunday and March Madness. I'm sure we'll talk to you here in the next month or so. Really appreciate it as always.
Yep. Anytime. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. That's Jonathan Von Tobel from Money Moves VSiN Live. And, man, 125-1, Wisconsin, Duke. That's your kind of sprinkle, baby. That's your
I love the long shots, right? I love the long bombs. So, the Badgers are an interesting team because, as JVT said, they've beat some really good teams this year. As he said, some very impressive wins on the resume, but they've also lost to some teams that it's like, how is this possible when you watch them on a game to game, one to the next type basis, which can be frustrating if you're maybe a Wisconsin fan.
Well, Duke, you might 100. I mean,
why not? What do I have to lose?
Paul, throw that $1,000
found money.
Throw that 1,000 down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
125.
Easy
to
way
one,
just
Duke.
to throw away money.
That pulls you out some retirement, a little
Yeah, I was joking with some of the guys in the room last night. Yeah, my investment portfolio is my sportsbook account.
Which at the stage of your life probably isn't the way to go, but you know.
Hey, everyone has a different path, Kev.
There was a time, Duke, when I was approximately your age. I thought that I could, if I won $60 a day playing blackjack, just win 60 a day.
And then you just take that 60 and put it in under the mattress?
Oh, no. Like that was like I was going to be technically Matt Damon from Rounders, but not playing Hold'em.
Right.
I was going to be playing
blackjack.
But you know what? To be honest with you, on another note, I worked with a guy at Global, turned into a pro player in poker. Ryan Punch McLean was his name. He ended up actually on the World Series of Poker, and he took down Daniel Negreanu on TV.
Really?
And the best part of it all is like Negreanu had no idea who he was, and they both went all in, and before they flopped, you can really hear Punch McLean's line. One of the Canucks is out, he says. He goes, one of the Canucks is gone. Top of the hour, we're going to go in or out with the Duke of Delburne. We got Curtis Pachelka from Bay Area News and Bay Area Sports covers the Sharks. We'll have him coming up at 10:20. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just 4 games in the NHL tonight, kicking off with the Panthers hosting the Sabres. Vegas is out in Washington. The Wild take on the Mammoth, and the nightcap, Winnipeg Jets in SoCal up against the Ducks. PWHL action tonight. Return to action for Toronto. They're in Seattle against the Torrent. Oil Kings on the road tonight down in Red Deer for a 7 o'clock puck drop from the Centrum. And in the BCHL, both local clubs at home. Spruce Grove hosting Brooks, 7 o'clock puck drop from the Thompson Family Arena. And out in Sherwood Park, Crusaders taking on Trail. In AJ this evening, just outside the city, Devon Extreme welcoming Calgary. Meanwhile, Drayton Valley's down in Calmore, Lloydminster playing Grand Prairie, and Olds taking on Whitecourt. Team Canada announcing its flag bearers for the upcoming Paralympic Games. Para hockey captain Tyler McGregor and Para Nordic skiing star Natalie Wilkie with the honors. McGregor, 4th games, 2 silver medals and a bronze on his resume. Meanwhile, Wilkie from BC has won 7 medals at the Paralympics over 2 different appearances, 2 gold medals in 2022 at Beijing. In the association tonight, a handful of games there. Pistons hosting Cleveland, Brooklyn in Boston, Knicks up against Milwaukee, Dallas hosting Memphis, and Denver in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. And finally, university action tonight from the Saville Center beginning at 6 o'clock. Pandas volleyball look to punch their ticket through to Canada West semifinals when they go up against Winnipeg. Ditto for the Bears. After last night's victory, they'll play Winnipeg, scheduled to start at 8 o'clock. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out and be joined by Curtis Pachelka from the Bay Area News covering the San Jose Sharks. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. The Brick is here to help with deals on your entire bedroom. Save up to 50% off clearance mattresses, 50% off beds when you buy any 3 matching pieces. Buy one, get one half price on ceiling memory foam pillows, and save $100 off any adjustable power base when you buy a mattress over $9.99. Plus, check out other incredible savings in every department. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, North Side, and downtown.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the center bar. Plus, catch all the biggest games, every goal, every slam dunk. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
A classic, Duke. That came in early too from the request line, very early. But you can't beat the Man in Black. You really like that movie, Ring of Fire, or is it Walk the Line?
It was Walk the Line. I did. I thought it was an excellent movie. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was terrific. Reese Witherspoon, wow,
Academy Award.
Yeah, so really, really, I thought the music was good, and I believe that Joaquin Phoenix did all the singing himself actually in that movie.
Mm-hmm. And did she do Carter as well?
I think she sang, yeah. I'm not as sure on that. I
think she did.
I always just heard the stories of Phoenix more so than Reese, but she was really good too, no doubt.
Yeah. He was also in a Columbo episode, Johnny Cash.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joaquin Phoenix.
Low Tide would know that. He jumped out of a plane. He was a parachutist. Time now for Are You In or Out?
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out? In or out of what? No time for questions, just action. In or out? Well, then I'm out. I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Letterbuck.
Oilers win big last night, 8-1 over the Kings in Los Angeles. And I'll be honest, watching that game back, I got home last night, I think just as much a detriment to the Kings as it was a positive for the Oilers, who were solid for sure. But, man, the Kings were brutal over the course of that contest. Connor McDavid picked up 2 points to hit 100 for the 9th time in his career. Long-range prediction, you've already touched on it with a couple different guests this morning, Kevin, but I think he'll finish his career with 15 to match Wayne Gretzky's record.
Yeah, I'm going to be in. Could it even be more than 15, Duke?
I'm not sure I'm ready to rule it out. I think it's very possible because when you look at the player Connor McDavid is, he obviously plays a lot of minutes, has not missed very much time in his career due to injury, save, of course, back in, rookie season, second year with the collarbone thing, knee thing, obviously, at one point as well. But it seems like the player profile comes across as one that can stretch well into his late 30s, right? And how dynamic he is, how smart he is, like the hockey IQ and the assists. Listen, is he going to be scoring 35 goals into his late 30s? Maybe not. But I think that the ability to still put up 70, 80 assists is very much on the table just because of how elusive he is and how smart he is.
So I'm in 100 per here. If, if it happens, that's 6 more at 100. That gives him 1,900 points. Just under 1,900 points if he gets 6 more 100 point plus seasons. He's at 1182 right now, Duke.
Yeah.
So he's going to get 18 more here for the rest of the season.
Sure.
Okay, at least. So that puts him at 1,200. You get 600 point seasons. They're going to be 110, 115, whatever they are.
At least, I mean, hey, if he is having years like this where you're talking 120 to 140 realm, very much in conversation.
He's going to be at 1,900 points by the time he's at 35.
Pretty impressive.
That's unreal. It's insane.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, I mean, as much as all this hubbub this week about, his the team accomplishments and he coming up short a couple different times, that's why I find it so outlandish when people start that narrative around not being a big game player and questioning his abilities to win the big one. I think it's just silly when hockey is such a team sport. He's done everything in his power and is without a doubt the best of a generation.
We've been lucky here.
For sure. Tomorrow afternoon, the Oilers will head to the Bay for a matinee against the San Jose Sharks. Listen, this is a trend, and it's funny because I said the opposite last night to you in the dressing room, Kevin. When we look at the Kings as an opponent, I said I probably would have been on the under in last night's game had I sprinkled, but I didn't. I refrained. I refrained from sprinkling. I think the over 6.5. There's no reason to think it will not hit for what would be the 10th straight Oilers game to crest 7 goals total.
Could you imagine if you would have let that G note ride, Duke, on an under?
I'm not that dumb. I'm not. And hey, I said I love to gamble sports. I keep it pretty modest though, and I don't like to think myself an irresponsible sports gambler. That's found money. Think about that. That's a good chunk into many of my expenses for another month. Just a little fun found money for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go in on this one as well. I thought I had yesterday as a 3-2 game.
You didn't account for both Kings goaltenders essentially just showing an unwillingness to stop the puck, it seemed at times.
Yeah, I had it 3-2. That's what I had. So I'm going to go in on this one. I think it's going to be fun to watch Connor McDavid and Macklin Celebrini go against each other. I'm sure they're going to have a nice little exchange before the game.
Quick little shin pad tap maybe during warmups or something up at center ice. And keep in mind, right, the last time these two teams played, the Sharks had a 3-0 lead, blow it, Oilers go on to win in overtime. And the Sharks team, they're in the playoff hunt still. I don't know what their activity is going to look like here between now and Friday because their entire D-core is an unrestricted free agent, all but one guy, I think, and then, of course, Sam Dickinson. But up front, they already made an ad this year bringing in Kiefer Sherwood, who's just back from injury. Only a couple games under his belt in the Sharks uniform. But yeah, they're an interesting team. You have to think they're going to be very, very motivated for a chance to go up against the Oilers that continue to, last night notwithstanding, maybe is the anomaly, bleed goals and bleed chances a little bit. And they got some firepower.
Wasn't it funny at the start of the year, they bring in Orlov and Klingberg and everyone's going like, who's going to play defense for these guys?
Yeah.
And here they are knocking on the door and they've lost 4 in a row here too. So they're having a tough go.
Switching gears, spring training continued for the Toronto Blue Jays, and of course the news from the other night, yesterday in conjunction. Max Scherzer rejoining the team on a 1-year deal. This is going to be Scherzer's 19th MLB season. An incredible accomplishment, multi-time Cy Young winner, World Series champion, of course. His role on the team, that's the kind of question that I think a lot of people are asking upon his addition, because this is already a pretty loaded pitching rotation when you look at it top to bottom, has the potential to be one of, if not the very best in the major leagues of baseball. But I think his spot is in the rotation, and it will end up pushing, at least in the meantime, Cody Ponce into the bullpen.
I'm going to be out on this one. I think, they've invested in Ponce for this year and the future. I think he's kind of that swing man everywhere.
Okay.
He could see spot starts depending on the schedule. He's going to be, and he's almost like another coach on the bench, obviously.
And I think that is his best value to the team.
So I'm going to be out. I think Ponce is going to be there, and unless if he flounders, then you've got a great like a cushion here with Scherzer.
And then obviously, there's this, if nothing else, with a potential Ponce struggling and return to the major leagues for the first time in a couple seasons, there's no need to rush back Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
And, the uncertainty around him. And it does seem to be largely positive from what we're hearing out of the Jays and those covering the team down in Florida for spring training. But you can give him the chance to come back at his own pace and not rush it when you do have another veteran ready to step in should something befall one of the other 5 scheduled starters, which is certainly good.
Did you read or see Max Scherzer's daughter's letter?
I did.
Yeah.
It's pretty heartwarming.
Pretty priceless.
Pretty touching, yeah.
And when you see it, so it's Dear Blue Jays, DERE. I think it's written in mid-December. I am so sorry that you didn't win the World Series. I hope that you win next time. I hope my dad is back on the team. My whole family loves spending time in Toronto with our dad. We love I think it's aquarium, the stadium, of course, and that's something I think. I too look forward to come back next season. Love Max Scherzer daughter.
Yeah, it doesn't even sign her name, just Max Scherzer's daughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, great addition to the story, which all kind of falls in with this whole narrative we got from last year in Toronto that this team was exceptionally close, and the guys that came in like Bieber just fit the mold like no problem. Their families all had enjoyed hanging out, spending time with each other too. So it's a great move for the Blue Jays with essentially zero risk involved.
Scherzer's wife had the post. Best year of Pro Ball we ever had.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, and this is a guy that had been around for 17 already, and like I said, won championships, had tons of individual success,
everywhere.
all these things. Really, really encouraging for the Jays season as spring training continuing down in Grapefruit League. Montana's Briar getting underway tonight from Newfoundland. And yes, Kevin, as you correctly pointed out to me, 7:30 is the local start time on that. They're not rolling the rocks out at 11:30 in Newfoundland.
Midnight curling. Could you imagine?
Yeah, we'll save that for Delburne here later in March, the all-nighter Bonspiel coming up from the DCC. But despite a field that does still have some big names, of course, Alberta's Kevin Cooey, Olympic gold medalist Brad Jacobs, Matt Dunstone, Mike McEwen, Dunstone in particular chasing that elusive Briar championship. Listen, the next 10 days, they belong to Brad Gushue and nobody else.
How could you be anything but in on this one? I mean, his swan song, the rink has been dynamite JJ for forever. Wonderful career. Probably goes down as the best skip in Canadian history. And I would love to see nothing but a Gushue Dunsey final. I'm still
just to see your boy lose again.
I gotta go with my boy Dunsey, Dunstone, to finally climb the hill, climb the mountain this week, pardon me, Duke.
And I think when it comes to these Canadian championships and both the Scotties and the Briar, even if you're not a big curling fan, you're naturally drawn to whatever team is representing your province, right? And we were lucky enough to have 2 Alberta teams at the Scotties this past year, and Selena Sturman and Kayla Skurlik both had excellent outings. Kevin Cooey is an Albertan Canadian legend. We're obviously going to be rooting for him, and we want him to have success. But I'll just speak for myself, and I think a lot of Canadians will feel the same way. Albertans will feel the same way. It's almost like you set that allegiance aside, and when it comes down to it, you really want Brad Gushue to finish this on the highest note. He obviously, should he win, go on to represent Canada at the World Championships. But what a way to go out, because this isn't a guy, one of those athletes that are playing out the string and essentially just showing up to show up. He's still an excellent competitor and was in the mix to represent Canada at the Olympics and has as strong a chance to win this event as anybody on home ice out in Newfoundland and St. John's. So
and just the one Alberta rep this year.
Yeah, just Kevin Cooey for the blue and gold at this year's Briar. Finally, Kevin, this is what I'm very interested in getting to with you.
Really?
Today is National Pokemon Day.
I don't know.
I have to assume, and I understood this when I put the question in, you have no idea.
No sniff.
Not a sniff.
Nothing.
Like you cannot name me one Pokemon.
Nothing.
Okay,
Zero.
that's fine. And I'm prepared for that. So I'm going to describe 3 things to you. And these are from the original game, the 3 called starter Pokemon. You get to pick one. And that's your starter. All right. So one of them, Kevin, is like a little ground lizard with a plant on its back that vines can come out of and tangle up their opponent. Because I don't know if you're familiar, Kevin, you battle them. It's a what, Josh? Like a frog with a little bulb on its back. and the vines come out. All right, so that's one. It's kind of blue and green. The other is like a turtle that can shoot water out of its mouth. He can go into his shell. He spins around. That's one. And then the third one is another lizard-looking thing that has fire on its tail and it can breathe fire.
Is that Kecleon?
What? What's Kecleon?
I don't know. I just punched up the Pokemon
Okay,
thing.
no, I'm original 151 guy. So their names, Charmander is the fire one.
Okay.
Squirtle is the turtle. And then Bulbasaur is like the little frog with the plant on its back. So those are the three you can pick from to start. And then eventually you level them up. They evolve. They turn into bigger versions with different attributes, all these things. You got to pick one of those three, Kevin. You're starting your first time playing Pokemon, the video game. I think the best option, and it's one of the hotly contested things inside the Pokeverse.
Squirtle.
I'm taking Squirtle the turtle. Oh, Josh has got pictures of him here for you.
Okay, so that's Squirtle the turtle on the left?
The one with the shell.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, no, I'm taking that guy with the fire on the tail. Is that what you thought I'd take?
Yeah, I kind of thought so.
What's that guy's name?
That's Charmander.
Oh, Charmander.
Charmander. And so his final evolution is maybe the coolest because he turns into like a dragon, essentially, with wings and breathes fire. Yeah.
So you guys are on Squirtle?
I like Squirtle. I don't know about Josh.
Josh, and what's the other option?
Bulbasaur.
Yeah, I'm more with Kev on this one, Charmander, because at the end you got Charizard.
But Blastoise is cool too.
Blastoise is cool.
There
isn't
fully
really a
turtle,
wrong
Kevin,
choice
he's
here.
got cannons that come out of his shell.
It's true. It's awesome.
Bulbasaur has the highest base stats according to Ant.
Yeah, so that's why it tricks you. They want you because he's the highest base stats, but he's kind of the lamest. He's a frog with a plant on his back.
He's onion turtle.
He's onion. Yeah,
Really?
that's an all-time internet clip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's onion turtle. That's Punchy Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody knows Pikachu. That's Pikachu right there.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Everybody know that big swinging bee.
Wow. Well, what a way to wrap it up.
You like
here.
that, Kev? A little
Yes.
fun.
Oh,
I might that'll be my eventually when you're ready to hang them up. I'm gonna get you an original Game Boy with Pokemon, and you can really get into this in your free time. I think you'd love it.
Our buddy Blair says, I put up with the stupid goal song, stupid clips on the other station for 15 years. Now I have to listen to Pokemon. Wow. Oh, boy. Come on, Blair, hang in there. We're going to have Curtis Pashelka from the Bay Area, covers the San Jose Sharks. That's coming up right after the break on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. I'm heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother had the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, great values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10:21 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. And boy, have we got a great selection, too. Many colors to pick from. $49,900 gets you behind the wheel. Brand new Jeep Gladiators, below $50K. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Curtis Pachelka from Bay Area News Group. Good morning, Curtis. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it, Kevin. How are you doing?
Doing great up here. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. I know the Sharks are kind of reeling a little bit, losers of 4 in a row. But before we get to that clash and everything like that, I saw there was a little post from various outlets in San Jose with the return of Macklin Celebrini, and just the amount of news cameras, sports cameras, writers, everyone to kind of greet him back from the Olympics. And I think some people were saying, Curtis, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, that this was some of the biggest galleries of news agencies and things like that to cover the Sharks in a long, long time.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Over the last few years, it's pretty small gathering of reporters every day who show up to practices and morning skates and those types of things. And yesterday, obviously on Wednesday, Macklin Celebrini returns to practice with the Sharks, and every news outlet basically in the Bay Area kind of had someone there to take in the proceedings, and it just goes to show how much of an impact he had. Not only in Canada, but obviously across the United States and here in the Bay Area, just about, how well he played at the Olympics, what kind of mark he made, so the presence he, now sort of announcing his presence on the world stage there. So, people who are here were very proud of him and see how well he played in that tournament and throughout that tournament, especially at 19 years old. And, a little disappointed for him that he didn't win the gold medal, but, happy for the United States to win in overtime there. And, but yeah, you're right. It was big news here when Macklin got back to San Jose, and, big crowd last night for last night's game, and they're expected to sell outs again tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon too. So it's definitely a lot of buzz surrounding around Celebrini right now, and the Sharks too, to some degree.
You've covered all these great players in San Jose for an awful long time here, Curtis. And, when I think of a guy that's just 19 years old and mature beyond his years, I just want to maybe get your perspective on what it's like to be around a guy like, even just saying at the Olympics, well, I wasn't even sure if I was even going to be playing. I don't know. Just the humility and just everything for a guy of his age must just blow you away on a daily basis.
Yeah, and especially when we first really got to sit down and talk to Macklin at the draft, 2 years ago, last, June 2024, and obviously he was projected first overall pick. The Sharks had a number 1 pick selection that year. So getting a chance to really kind of get to know him there in the pre-draft meetings with reporters, he was still 17 at the time, and you were still struck by just how mature he was off the ice, and how gracious he was with other people. And then obviously you see the way he plays on the ice. It was beyond his years, the way he's the capability he's been showing here. So you want to say you're getting used to it at this point, but it's not surprising when you see him handle himself so well on and off the ice.
Yeah, when you watched him at the Olympics, Curtis, and you saw him playing with Connor McDavid, what did you think? How they sort of immediately had that chemistry and synergy?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising because watching last year's Four Nations face-off, it was maybe a little bit hard for Team Canada to sort of find the right line mate for Connor McDavid, and to see Macklin Celebrini step in right into that role right away, and make it look pretty seamless right off the hop, right off from their first game forward. It was pretty impressive to see the way Macklin kind of handled that responsibility, given how challenging it can be to find the right line mates for a guy like Connor McDavid, who's so dynamic. So that was pretty impressive to see. And then I think John Cooper quickly realized that if you put Nathan McKinnon up on that top line, that was going to be pretty hard for most countries to stop. So it was just kind of fun to see Macklin step into that environment and not only be a player on Team Canada and be an asset, but be obviously one of its best players throughout the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Pashelka, our guest from Bay Area News Group on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. So maybe just look back to last night's game. Curtis, Calgary comes into the Shark Tank, wins 4-1, and just to right now before the break and after the break, Sharks just stumbling a little bit here.
Yeah, it's just a matter of trying. I think the biggest problem for the Sharks right now is just keeping the puck out of their own nets. And last night's game, they had a very good first period, but Dustin Wolf has a career pretty much owns the Sharks now throughout his career. He's 10-2 now, had 16 saves in the first period, and the Sharks really couldn't find much energy left in the second and third periods. The Calgary did a pretty good job there, and then took advantage of a couple of Sharks miscues that led to goals, and so that's kind of been the biggest problem for the Sharks recently. Just keeping the puck out of their own nets, and some timely mistakes that have ended up costing them. And as you saw that firsthand last night against the Flames team that's not really contending for a playoff spot right now, and the Sharks are having trouble with those type of teams right now. They lost in Calgary just before the break. They lost in Chicago too. And so these types of games where you want to see, or maybe you expect to see the Sharks pick up 2 points, it's just these opportunities are kind of slipping by the wayside here, and starting to maybe run out of time here with the deadline not too far away.
So I guess sorry, pardon me. I guess that begs the next question here, because the Sharks have fallen a little bit out of playoff contention. You could get back into it with a couple of wins here, but I guess does that muddy the waters for Mike Grier a little bit moving forward here in the next week?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, the Sharks have several unrestricted free agents on the roster, including 4 or 5 other defensemen. So it's just a matter of what does Mike Grier do? Does he kind of just say no to heck with it? I think let's make a playoff push here. Let's keep the group together and maybe use that. Maybe that experience could be valuable for some of the other Sharks players, or just to say, I got to get what I can get for some of these guys. Maybe a Mario Ferraro is a guy that's gets traded and can bring back to somewhat of a decent return. Obviously, Oilers fans are familiar with John Klingberg, and he played throughout the playoffs last year for the Oilers on their run of the Cup. So maybe those are 2 guys that maybe that can get some interest, maybe a decent return for the Sharks. But so it does a little bit complicate matters for Mike Grier. I think he said, not too long ago when he's speaking to reporters, before the break, that he's prepared to keep his UFAs and then just kind of see how things play out. But if the Sharks fall a little bit further out of the race here, you might see a pivot from Sharks management in terms of their approach to the deadline.
When they brought in Kiefer Sherwood, everyone was kind of thinking, everything was going in the right direction as far as making the playoffs and moving forward. Can he factor in here again with the possibility of being moved?
Yeah, there's always that possibility. I mean, Mike Grier said when he was talking to us not too long ago that if another team comes along and inquires about Sherwood and makes it a decent enough offer, that's going to he'll have to sort of consider that. But when they acquired Sherwood from the Canucks, it was with the intent of keeping him and signing him to a long term, or not a long term, but just an extension past this season. So that's another decision that Mike Grier is going to have to make. Is do you want to keep a guy who you think that can be a real asset to this team and be one of those guys that this Sharks team kind of needs, seeing as how he plays his style is something maybe what the Sharks could what fits into the Sharks roster right now. So there's a lot of different ways this thing can go. I would be surprised if Sherwood gets traded before Friday here. I think when the Sharks acquired him, they felt he was the guy that kind of was a little bit sort of a missing ingredient from what the Sharks were missing, sort of in their top 6 or top 9 right now. Just a little bit of grit, a little bit of sandpaper, physicality, kind of an agitator type. So we'll see how things play out. I think Kerwood's going to look a little more comfortable in his surroundings in San Jose as the games go on here, and he gets a little bit more experience with the group here. But like I said before, time's kind of running out in terms of a decision management has to make.
Last time we were talking about the Sharks when they played the Oilers, Curtis, we brought up the play of Colin Graff and how the guy sort of came out of nowhere and is having just a fabulous season. Is he in a long-term kind of plan and looking down the road for Mike Greer, where they might say, man, this is a key piece, because he's moved up and down the lineup here, as you know, Curtis?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a guy that Ryan Warsofsky feels comfortable playing pretty much anywhere. He's played up on that top line with Celebrini and Smith at times this year. He's can be in kind of a checking role alongside a guy like Alex Wenberg in that 2 or 3C role that Wenberg has right now. So Ryan Warsofsky really, really values Colin Graff and what he brings to the table. Not only 5-on-5, but also he's become one of the top penalty killers for this team too. So I definitely think that he fits in this team's long-term plans. He's in a contract year, and so we'll see how it all kind of plays out in terms of what his next deal looks like. But the Sharks are very excited about Colin Graff and what he brings to the team, and what the future looks like for him too.
What is it about him? And I know other teams were looking at him when he came out of QP, that were looking at the possibility of signing him. But was it a good fit for San Jose? Was it a chance for where Graff is going? I might get a little more of an opportunity because they're sort of starting to build something here. What was it, do you think, Curtis?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It was just really all about opportunity for Colin Graff to sort of get it on the ground floor of what the Sharks were building. And you mentioned the opportunity he was going to get. I mean, he signed, and then he was in the Sharks lineup not too much later, and then obviously had to spend some time in the American League at the start of last season. But showed he was able to sort of master that level and be ready for the next challenge in his career in terms of joining, being a full-time NHL player at this point. So he's a very heady player. He's improved his skating quite a bit. He's added some other elements to his game, maybe a little bit of physicality. Like I mentioned, the penalty killing before. He was never a penalty killer at Quinnipiac or throughout his youth hockey career, and so he's able to sort of take on that skill very quickly here for the Sharks. And so, he's another piece of that young core here going forward that the Sharks are going to have trying to build around here and try to be a cup contender here and not maybe the next few years.
Curtis Pashelka from Bay Area News Group, our guest on the Kevin Carey Show here on Sports 1440. You mentioned part of that youth group and the core of that group. On the back end, it is, of course, Sam Dickinson. How have you seen his play evolve over the course of the year? And also kind of a two-parter. Has he been with the former Oiler Vinny Desharnais a lot of the time this year here, Curtis?
Yeah, he has actually, and that's been a good pairing for Sam in terms of learning alongside Vinny, and Desharnais sort of does a lot of the grunt work, and maybe that frees up Dickinson to maybe try to create a little bit more offense. But I think from the start of the season, or even the start of say rookie camp, in back in September, Ryan Warsofsky was saying a couple of days ago how much that Dickinson has really improved in terms of his positioning on defense, his skating, his just awareness. Made a couple of boo-boos last night against the Flames, and so he's still, you realize he's still 19 years old. But the Sharks are happy sort of with his trajectory, and he's going to be a big part of this team, going forward here. So the more he's able to sort of develop this year, the more he's going to be able to kind of hit the ground running next season.
Mm-hmm. You keep mentioning Ryan Warsofsky, the head coach, of the San Jose Sharks. And there's some guys that are coaches that played, and some are just career coaches, and some guys that are just maybe born to be coaches. This is a guy that's maybe just born to be a head coach, and this is, he doesn't have the pedigree of a player, but man, this guy seems to be bringing everything together here in San Jose. What's it like to work with him, and what do you make of how he's handled things, being a pretty young guy too, one of the youngest head coaches going?
Yeah, 100%. And, he's, like you say, doesn't have that playing pedigree, but, he was telling a story, back when he was in high school and in Massachusetts around Boston there. And, he would go into Mike Sullivan's office when Sullivan was the coach of the Bruins. And, those two go way back, and he'd go into the office there at TD Garden and sort of go back and forth on what the line combinations should look like, what the deep pairs should look like. So even at that age, he was sort of, kind of knew what the path he was going to be on. He wanted to be a coach, and he was he coached the American team to its first World Championship gold medal last May. I believe in something like 70 or 80 years, that was the first time the Americans won a gold medal at the Worlds. And Ryan Rosofsky was behind the bench for that. He deserves some credit for that too. So he's taken a step this year, I think, as a head coach. I think he's more confident in his own skin and in that role. And there's the Sharks were expected to take a step forward this year after finishing in last place each of the last 2 years. And the expectation was, okay, this team's going to take a step forward here. The expectation is not to have the best draft lottery odds this year. There's gonna have to sort of be some improvement here. And I think Ryan Rosofsky's coaching, and he'll tell you he's had some learning moments too this season, in his second full season as an NHL head coach. But he deserves credit for the way his team has come along and the development of the young guys too. I think that's really the most important thing for this Sharks team, is to make sure these guys who are 23 or younger, 24 or younger, continue to develop and can be impactful NHL players for this Sharks team for a long time.
What about tomorrow afternoon here, Curtis? I mean, we're going to see McDavid versus Celebrini. They were line mates for a half dozen games in Italy, and now they're going to be going head to head tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's already sold out here. I mean, tickets for sometimes the past 2 or 3, 4 years, you can get into a Sharks game for $20-25. It wasn't really a hard ticket. Yeah. Tomorrow afternoon's game is considerably more expensive to find a ticket there. So should be entertaining. Obviously, Macklin said he learned so much from playing with guys like McDavid and McKinnon throughout the Olympic tournaments. And so it'll be a huge challenge for this Sharks team. Like I said before, keeping the puck out of their own net has been the huge issue. And so you figure that the Sharks are going to be able to create some chances. It's just a matter of, can they slow down McDavid and company enough to try to pick up 2 points. It should be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to it. As always, Curtis, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the game tomorrow and the stretch run down for the next 7 weeks in the NHL heading into the playoffs. Really appreciate, as always, you coming on.
You got it, Kevin. Anytime.
All right, that's Curtis Pashelka from Bay Area News, covers the San Jose Sharks. And our game of the day brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where again, the all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. We'll let our good friend MTR, how his tasty beverages are doing here at MTR. Eloquently donated to the cause here at Sports 1440. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
For the first time in 66 years, Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, 2 of the most successful hockey programs in U Sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
McValue meals are here. Get the McD's you love for $5 plus tax every day with your choice of a McDouble, Junior Chicken, or Chicken Snack Wrap with small fries and small fountain drink. All for just $5 plus taxes. Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Greger is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Greger rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:45 in Edmonton, the home stretch of the Kevin Karius Show. For people watching on YouTube and our other streaming services, I just wanted to show the beautiful sea change prairie fire that technically,
Prairie Fairy, Kevin.
What did I say?
Prairie Fire.
Fire.
That's tequila and Tabasco.
Oh, yeah.
That's the last thing we're having in here.
Prairie Fairy from Sea Change. That, my fault. I don't know.
I'm having one too. Ready for this, Kev? Right?
Duke's got it on. Oh, well, see, I cracked mine earlier, Duke.
Pop a top.
You know, you got it.
I didn't want to do it while you were on with Curtis. You know, these mics in here, they're very sharp.
MTR says, I told you to get red ale and blonde ale. You couldn't even get that right. Wake up, he says.
He did say enjoy them, though.
He did say enjoy them, fellas. But I think one of them is the blonde ale because there was 2 4-packs. So we're starting on this 1 4-pack. MTR, if we get the ODR game, which I'm working on, Duke, by the way.
Oh, attaboy,
possibly
Kev.
Next weekend. We'll see. I got to check the temperatures in the long range forecast here. Maybe MTR, you can come out to the ODR and have a beverage with us on the weekend because I know you're so busy during the week. It'll be at Laurier Heights, I hope. I just got to make some arrangements out there. But no, they're very refreshing, Duke. It's a morning beer for us, right?
Well, by definition.
Still 5% alcohol.
Yep.
But you got another hour to go here, so.
Yeah.
So you can kind of nurse yours. I want to have mine.
You're going to having this done by the time you're walking out the door,
15
obviously.
minutes, this thing's gone.
You're not taking it with you as a roadie?
Well, I got hockey at 12. So
That'd be perfect.
I could, but
take the rest of them with you. Share them with the fellas in the room.
No. I just texted my buddy Tater. He's not going. Spinner's not going. So it's going to be me by myself on Team Dark against all the hoodlums on Team White. So Triple C in a truck says MTR is more of a 3% beer guy.
Well, they'll have to settle this at this aforementioned ODR game. A little Donnybrook between
I would love to see
the
MTR,
Niners and Eagles super fans.
MTR and Triple C like twist wrist for $1. I got a feeling Triple C's taking them down, no? Like Triple
I don't
C
know.
looks. You think
that's kind of the magic of radio, right? Is that we have no idea. We get to interact with all these listeners and every day, and for a lot of them, it is on a day-to-day basis, but we have no clue.
MTR says, I want to size Triple C up. Yeah, give him the old stink eye. Yeah, I just going by texting, Duke, like just by texting, I'm putting my money on Triple C.
Is it the name? Like Triple C in a truck, trucker. And MTR, I think, has told us, because he has a job where he's able to listen all day, but that could just be a matter of the AirPods in and stuff. If he's out there blue collar in it, if he's got the soft corporate hands like you and me, Kev, I don't know.
I don't have soft corporate hands, Duke. You think these babies been soaking in palm olive?
Yeah, I do.
Not a chance.
It's all relative, Kevin. Yeah. It's all relative.
Slurpy Sean.
You're not up there swinging hammers, Kev.
Slurpy Sean says, I'd take them both down. Both down. I'm sure our NFL friends will be glad to know that it is official now in Dallas that they have put the franchise tag on George Pickens at $28.8 million ballpark. They're not sure the exact number. Bigger news, even if you want to look at the entirety of the league, that the NFL has announced that the salary cap is going up. It's going up just a tad, $22 million to $301 million and change for next year. That's a lot of dough, man, to jump up. The last 2 years, it's gone from, the last 3 years, it's gone from 2.25 to now 301. Actually, go back one more year. Go to 2022, Duke, and it's increased almost $100 million in the salary cap. Since Roger Goodell came in, the cap in his first year jumped $17 million. It was at $100 million and change. Well, 102, I guess it is. 102, if I can read the number correctly. So it's increased $200 million, basically, in his tenure as commissioner.
Not bad.
That's why he makes, what does he make a year, Duke? Do you know?
A lot.
Ballpark? Is it 17, 20 million, 40 million?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'd believe you.
I'm going to check.
Quick Google search. I'm seeing 64 million.
64
I was,
million.
damn, I'm mad. My guess was going to be 50 mil.
64 million.
A career earnings, because it's highly incentivized. This is just an AI overview Google search. And a career earnings over $700 million.
How about this, Duke? Our buddy Mark Levers just texted me personally and says, because Triple C used to work at First Round.
Right.
And his text is, Triple C is an athlete in all sports, provincials, nationals, you name it, an athlete. Hey, Triple C, send us a note. What did you go to at provincials and nationals? What sport?
Pickleball. Badminton.
Triple C comes back to Slurpy Sean. He's got a brain freeze, I guess. Paulie, hey, look at this. Oh, would this be something? So this is Duke. I don't think you've ever met him. But Mike Polinchuk is texting in and says, let's get the ODR going at Sakers Acres. And Paulie says, I'm okay to twist some wrists. Now, if you know the story of Mike Polinchuk, he was one of the tougher customers back in the day, Duke.
Mm-hmm.
But and here's the thing with Paulie. Back in the day where guys were, if you were like 6'1" and 6'2" or whatever, and, you know, a couple hundred bills or whatever it was, 2 bills, 220, whatever it was, Paulie he would make you look like a dwarf standing beside him. And he was just a monster and intimidating. And he was one of those guys that didn't have to fight, really, because guys would just look at him and go, I don't want any part of this. None. Zero. How about Triple C? He says he was a soccer, football, and basketball dude.
Well, that is a well-rounded athlete if I've ever heard one. Holy.
You know.
Good on him.
MTR says is Duke in net.
Well, if it comes down to that.
You have to be Duke.
I don't know. I'd throw him on.
So we would have to get one more goalie.
I think between...
You know of someone?
I got some goalies.
Fenny Fenwick, what do you think of your Prairie Fairy? Are you enjoying it?
I love the Prairie Fairy. Yeah. I love everything that comes from Sea Change.
The palate, it's palatable.
It's really good. It is a good breakfast beer. Also, you got a text from Levers. I was just at First Round for lunch yesterday. A friend of mine is apparently the assistant director of, or maybe is the director of maintenance for rides and attractions here at the mall as of 17 days ago. I had no idea. So we went down to Bourbon Street and he said, oh, do you want to go to First Round? I've never been here. I was like, oh, First Round. It's the best.
It is. How about this, Kev? I remember earlier this week when we were talking about Donnie and Walker getting back into the swing with pre and post game after 3 weeks off. I asked Donovan, I say when he was in on Tuesday for this hit with Low Tide, I said, Donovan, are you chomping at the bit to get back into action with pre and post game? He says, well, yeah, you miss it. You miss watching the team play and all stuff. He's like, what I'm really missing is going to First Round during every game to catch a bite to eat and a pop or two. So that's where his priorities lie.
So it's the old thing that I said about Evander Kane and where he's at with his career in my mind. This is the same with Donnie. He doesn't love the job of broadcasting, loves the idea of it.
Right.
And the things that come with it. Going down to First Round and watching the game. Things like that.
Hitting on the waitresses.
Yes. Got to get back on the air.
Yeah.
Like Evander Kane. Oh, where's my paycheck coming? Oh, there it is coming. So don't put that on socials anymore. We don't. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, this is non-contentious Friday.
Just
Kevin's leaving it.
Leave it.
Kevin,
okay?
I would think you're an Edmonton City Council member trying to get something like that out here at 10:54.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Is that something you might be interested in? That was good. Well, it was a hell of a week, guys. Thanks to you two for that was a wild 4 or 5 days. And I mean, today, even last night, Duke, as we were saying in the dressing room, it'd be nice for like a kind of a convincing Oilers win just to close out the week. Imagine if the Oilers would have lost last night and stunk the joint out. Like this would have been, I'll tell you what, we would have cracked that Prairie Fairy at about 7:30. I can tell you that. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Ross Shep T-Bird,
Connor Halley and the Duke of Delburne. We've got the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell, 12 to 2. Jason Greger, 2 to 6 with the Jason Greger Show. Fox Sports all night long. The Triple S at 9 bells. It is Josh and Mac the intern. All right. And then Josh and Paul Sir will be with you tomorrow morning, 10 till 12 with Hoop City. I'm trying to think what time is the pregame show then tomorrow. 1? Okay. So they'll do Fox Sports till 1 and then the pregame show with Walks and Landon Ferrero and Donnie P. Puck drop 2:07. Postgame show to follow. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Hey, thanks everyone for listening today and all week. It was a hell of a week for Sports Talk Radio. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of disagreements. but we hopefully provided some good entertainment and some factual knowledge for you here on Sports 1440. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday morning. Eddie Steele will not be with us. One more Monday off for Eddie. He'll be back next Friday. So again, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
4-game slate in the NHL tonight, kicking off with the Panthers hosting the Buffalo Sabres. Vegas is in Washington. The Wild take on the Mammoth, and the Nightcap has the Winnipeg Jets in SoCal against the Anaheim Ducks. PWHL action return to it for Toronto and Seattle as they duke it out on the West Coast. And the Edmonton Oil Kings on the road tonight down in Red Deer for a 7 o'clock puck drop from the Centrum in the BCHL, both local clubs at home. Spruce Grove Saints hosting Brooks at the Thompson Family Arena at 7 o'clock. And also at 7 from Sherwood Park, the Crusaders taking on Trail. In the AJ this evening, locally, just outside the city, Devon hosting Calgary. And from Italy, Team Canada announcing its flag bearers for the upcoming Paralympic opening ceremonies. Para hockey captain Tyler McGregor with 3 Olympic medals under his belt, and Nordic skiing star Natalie Wilkie, 2-time gold medalist, will bear the honor for Team Canada. In the association, 5 games this evening. Boston hosting Brooklyn, Cleveland's in Detroit, Dallas up against Memphis, the Knicks play Milwaukee, and OKC welcomes in the Denver Nuggets. Montana's Briar getting underway from Newfoundland and Labrador. 4-game slate tonight starting at 7:30 Atlantic time. None of it taken on Newfoundland. Brad Gushu, his final Briar, will play Quebec. Ontario up against Nova Scotia, and PEI takes on newly crowned gold medalist Brad Jacobs and Team Canada. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West.